guys, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for another episode of our Patreon one-shots. For some reason, my Stream Deck button didn't actually transition us, so I'll have to figure that out later. But we're here. We're back. We missed last month, and I was gone the month prior. But we are here. We're back. We're in Glenbrook, and it's gonna be an interesting time. We got some new faces to the town, new faces to the stream. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I'm 35 now, and my back hurts, and I'm old, and I make elderly sounds. So if you like what you see here, and you want to support an elderly millennial streamer, the best way to do that is over on our Patreon link down below, like these fine folks here. And while you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us in Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, I get to do what the hell I want to these wonderful players. It's always bad. And two, every single dollar that goes into that goes back to this channel for all kinds of cool things like assets and stream things and videos and our cool Lord of the Rings video that's coming out soon. That'll be awesome. And that's all I got. You did body swap. What the hell? Hold on. I know how to stream again, guys. Give me a second. Give me and boom. It's like it never happened. The end. Oh boy.
And he can't spell.
I spell just fine.
You missed the one joke in the name. There you go.
Oh, is it? Did I misspell? I'll fix it later.
As in Gary.
I'll fix it in post. Previously, no, there's no previously. The year is 1985, the place New England, more specifically Rhode Island, the home of Mercy Brown, America's first vampire, the site of many dark and lurid tales from the mind of HP Lovecraft, and the home of the infamously haunted Perron Family. And now, the site of one of the largest government research facilities in the world, Loop. Today's Friday, September 20th, 1985. Our four troublemaking students, or at least three of them are troublemaking students. One of them is a saintly athlete, are in school. It's the first time we've seen them in school for quite some time. They're in school. You guys are in your respective classes. John and Shane, you are both in a class together. This is the later periods of the day. Danny and Fish, you are, I think, in separate classes. I think you're a year apart, if I'm not mistaken. One of you is a freshman, one of you is a sophomore, and the other two are, I believe, juniors.
I'm 13 years old.
Yeah, you're great. Then you're both freshmen. Perfect. It worked out. So you are in your classes. It is September 20th. You have all heard recent stirrings, possibly in passing, because you're children and you don't pay attention to too much. But you have collectively heard that in the news, and as well as from teachers talking, parents talking, an occasional glance at a newspaper that a dad holds open over the dinner table, that the weather outlook for the next few days in Glenbrook, or the next few weeks, is not good. Hurricane Gloria has made landfall in the southeastern coast of the United States and is working its way up the coast. And for all of those in Canada who don't know what a hurricane, it's like a lot of wind with water. It's like a tornado, but with water.
I love it. That joke will never die.
It's like awesome. A blizzard, but warmer.
Hey, speaking of hurricanes, is like Fiona doing anything for you guys or what?
No. Yeah, it did. It was real rainy for like an entire day straight the other day. It was awesome.
Because everyone in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia are like, oh my God, Fiona!
Yeah.
So.
See, they do have hurricanes in Canada, just not in fucking where you are, in the middle of the country, in the tundra.
Literally, in the literal middle.
Yeah, in the prairie tundra. Cool. So you guys have heard that in the coming week, Hurricane Gloria will make landfall in New England. It is supposed to have tapered off, and it will just be a fairly large rain and thunderstorm. But you've also heard that Mayor Ricci, who is the mayor of Glenbrook, has made a partnership. The panic on G's face that she has to write down a new name.
Mayor Ricci.
Yeah. Mayor Ricci has announced a partnership between the Loop and the Department of Public Works. This is relevant to you because to ensure that the outages that may be caused by Gloria are minimal, and to ensure that all outages in the future are also minimal, they'll be working with the local electrical infrastructure, thus resulting in brownouts and blackouts over the next couple of days before the hurricane hits. You've all been warned accordingly, and you are to expect this. So, we cut in to 5th period Spanish class for John Newman and Shane Hughes. As your teacher is droning on about consonants and conjugation and the masculine and femininity of different words as you two sort of blended into the background. Let's get a description. What does John look like as he is clearly not paying attention to Spanish lessons?
John is your stereotypical 80s greaser kid. He worships at the altar of the Fonz, and his hair is always slicked back. There's probably a motorcycle helmet that's clipped to his probably like 1945, 1946 issue sort of canvas military backpack. And otherwise, he is wearing jeans, motorcycle boots, and a heavy old leather jacket that's, it's beaten up. It's never actually seen, that much tarmac rash, but it's old, it's well worn, much like every other thing he owns.
Okay. The camera sort of pans across the class to Shane, who has to at least present a modicum of diligency, as you are a student athlete and need to maintain at least a C average. Shane, what are you doing in this Spanish class?
So Shane is, he's kind of dividing his attention between listening the absolute possible minimum to the boring ass teacher, and looking outside. If we can see the track, the running track from this classroom, I am gazing not quite longingly, but very daydreamily at the track, and I'm looking up to the sky to check, to monitor the weather and see if maybe I'll be able to get some running in after school before I have to go home.
Yeah, the weather's a little overcast. It's the pending storm, right? The storm should be about a week away, but it is affecting the weather. It's not raining yet, so you should be able to get a few laps in at least.
Excellent.
But as you wax poetic about the run you're going to anticipate, or the run you're going to have in a few scant minutes, we cut down to the first floor in one of the chemistry labs, where there are rows of 8-foot-long black stone tables, each with a metallic sink in the middle of them. Faucet kind of overhangs on the opposite side of the sink. There is a spigot that sort of comes out that is very small and tapers down to a narrow point. Those are used for insulated tubing, because there's a gas line attached to all of them to insulate the tubing for the Bunsen burners that are active on all of your chemistry lab benches. We see Danny and Fish are partnered up together at one of the lab stations. One of them has those massive goggles on, and a set of tongs that don't do anything other than start the fire, but a constant click, spark, click, spark, click, spark goes. Fish, goggles and sparker in hand, what trouble are you up to in chemistry class?
I think she's actually might be a little nervous, because she's not good with chemistry stuff, at least not yet. This is the first time ever using it, so she's kind of standing back a little bit, and she's got like the goggles on and her tongs, and she's like, "Are we gonna blow up?"
I don't know. I'm my first time there as well.
They don't have this kind of stuff in Sweden.
Yeah, they do, and they teach them when you're 13. And where am I?
You're 13
Not in Sweden,
right? Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Like, oh, your parents didn't buy you Bunsen burners for Christmas? What the hell?
Sorry,
Such
Finnish,
a
Swedish parents don't buy you Bunsen burners for Christmas.
So deprived.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
imagining
socialist
Fish
market,
like
man.
I'm imagining Fish like not really being comfortable with the goggles, having them on way too tight, so when she takes them off, she's gonna have the ring around her.
I like this scenario. Yeah, so you have fucking giant donut ring. I love it. Yeah, you have the Bunsen burner is lit, sort of smoldering between the two of you as you click the strikers. Both of you have these giant goggles on, and the teacher strolls by and he's kind of musing at each one of the desks. And he stops over at your desk, and this is Mr. Craig. Mr. Craig stands at the side of the desk and he looks at you and says, "You'll need to place the chemicals in the vial." And he points down. He points down, and you have a small package of like essentially a like a Tylenol, like a NyQuil pill, but about like 3 inches long. Each one has a different colored chemical in them. He says you'll need to puncture them, and he motions to the small set of scissors near between the two of you, and he says you need to place them in the order. And he motions towards the chalkboard at the front of the class that tells you how many milliliters and what sequence to put these things into the graduated cylinder and then pour into the Bunsen burner.
So now you use milliliters. Now that's a thing.
Yeah, we use milliliters in science. That's the only time we use it in school. we use it when measuring liquids in a graduated cylinder.
I didn't take chemistry in high school, so I'm like, oh no, I don't do any of this.
I have actually done chemistry in high
Yeah.
school.
Yeah,
And it's exactly like this.
It's exactly
Yeah.
like this.
But JoJo's not stupid, so she's got 4 in mind. So
You
she
mean
can
fish?
follow instructions. What did I say?
Jojo.
Jojo.
Yeah. See,
Well,
this is what
JoJo's not.
happened. Yeah,
JoJo's
when the
definitely-
group
So it
of two is
begins.
one head down.
I mean,
Fish.
No, there's you don't get bags in Sweden. You actually get like the things in, what do you call them? The tiny glass tubes. You know, the tiny ones.
Yeah.
So you can-
Vials?
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
the same
vials.
thing, but you kids can't be trusted with glass. Look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bunsen burner, the
I would say.
Oppenheimer flask is glass. But
I would say I think Danny would have problems reading chemistry English since he's not actually English as such. So he would probably be very close to taking the bags in the wrong order, or something like that, or too much at once.
yeah. So I would like.
Warning, do not stare directly at laser with remaining eye.
I would like, just for shits and giggles, both of
I don't
you
wanna
to
roll.
roll me You don't want to roll? Okay.
I don't want to roll.
I would
I
like
wanna
both
roll.
of you to roll me a comprehend.
I have
Okay.
0 in comprehend. This will be amazing.
Well, like, Fish is not a dummy. She's got 4 in mind, so she
I have
can
0
read,
successes. If I can choose, I
2
want to-
successes.
If
When
I can
she-
choose, I want to choose that I took the wrong order of the bags. Because I
Okay.
could not read it properly what it was.
So yeah, perfect. So Danny, you are sort of taking charge in Fish's stage fright, essentially, and you are cutting open one of the capsules and ready to pour this in. While Fish, you are staring at the board, like absorbing these words, looking down, looking at the things, and you see at the last second Danny is about to pour in the wrong solution. And you know that if he were to do so, that Oppenheimer flask would explode.
Wait.
What?
That's the wrong color, Danny. You're gonna kill us.
Oh. Okay, which?
You're gonna
This-
make a
this
bomb
one?
if you put that in first. And she,
Oh,
yeah,
that would be
she,
cool.
it would be kind of cool. But
That would
here,
be-
use this one
you-
instead.
Okay.
And then she adjusts the goggles.
You grab the elastic straps on the side and sort of tighten them up a little bit more, forcing the sharp plastic further into your face. You drop a few bloop 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 of this chemical into the flask. The flame sort of flicks back and forth underneath it, and you see it turn from a light blue to a bright green, meaning that it is time to pour in the third one. And the teacher kind of walks back around, Mr. Craig. He walks back around and gives you guys a nod, looking around at all the other things, and he makes his way to the front of the class again. And he opens his mouth to give some more speech rhetoric about what the importance of chemistry is and what you guys are doing. And everyone, this includes those on the third floor in Spanish class, you feel a weird sensation in the air. You feel like the hair on the back of your neck starts to stand up, but so not in like a fear kind of way. The hair on your arms also begins to stand up, right? Like a you ran your wool socks across the carpet kind of feeling. And I would like everyone to roll me. Let me remember what the hell the rolls are in this game because I have forgotten them. Because I am a terrible GM. I am here for your private games.
Did you forget your note that says you're an awesome improv DM? You got this.
I do have that note right here as a sticky note, but I do forget what the skills are called. Everyone, roll me a investigate or comprehend, whatever is higher for you.
That would be 0. So let's try to investigate this time. Can I investigate better than comprehend? I can.
Okay, so we got a success from Iquin, no success from Shane, no success from John, and no success from Fish. Okay.
Hey, Fish, my karate senses are tingling.
Iquin.
What does that even mean?
We all would like to know.
It? Don't you feel it?
I feel a LaRusso in the air.
She's like, I don't feel anything.
No, it's like a weird feeling. Don't you feel it? Maybe it's the chemicals.
No. I don't.
Did we pour
this
it in the
this
wrong
mask
way?
is pinching my nose, so I'm a little.
Oh, I'm gonna send you those. They're so painful. Danny, you feel this like this hackle on like the your hair's raised, right? Like this kind of like this feeling around you, and there's a smell in the air. You seem to be the only one that smells it, and you can tell that it is different from the chemicals. It smells like burnt electricity, which is a very strange smell, but your parents often smell like that from coming home from work. It's the smell of ozone, of burning ozone in the air, that weird electrical sort of synthetic smell. And you smell that smell, you see the hairs raised on your arm, everyone sort of like has like the willies, right? And as this wave sort of washes over, you, Iquin, you, Danny, you hear this low droning hum that passes. It doesn't like, it's not like a constant. It just sort of like, what do you call it? It Dopplers, like, whoop, and is gone. And as you feel that sort of wave wash over you, all of the lights in this room, all of the lights in the 3rd floor Spanish class, as far as you can tell, all of the lights in the school are gone out.
Look, Fish,
Are those Bunsen burners still on?
They are fire, so yes.
Okay.
See,
Might be like that.
The hair was starting to raise, and then it started to smell like my parents. You know, this weird, like.
Everything's not about your parents, okay, Daddy?
No, listen. No, listen. I'm
What?
serious. I'm serious. Something weird happened. It started to smell weird, like not the chemicals weird, and then like the hair on my arm started to raise, and then suddenly now power's gone. Something's happening. Telling you, it feels super weird.
Does she smell anything now that he's pointed it out? Like,
Nope. Smell is gone.
I don't
It
smell
also-
anything.
Did you hear that sound? Like the boom. Like, you know, like a
No.
car driving by, like boom.
No, and she's gonna take the goggles off, like that's gonna help her hear.
Yeah, look, there's.
I don't hear anything.
You have kind of like a maybe not so tight, you know. It's your face.
What?
Your face is like,
Oh no, really?
yeah.
As you massage the indent around your face, there's a dull murmur around the class as everyone's sort of looking around, trying to see what happened. You guys are in the bowels of the school, and it is thus usually dark down here. There's a one of those like basement windows at the top of the thing where you guys can all kind of peer up like that. The teacher, Mr. Craig, walks out into the hallway, and he looks in the hallway, and you see him have like a puzzled look. The emergency lights in the hallway should have turned on in the event of a power loss. They have not turned on. And he kind of looks around. You see him walk to the side of the room, and he picks up the phone that's in there, and he dials towards the office and hangs the phone back up. There's no power to the landline, which you guys would know would be strange as well. But while this happens, we cut up to the third floor Spanish class, where Shane, you are still staring out the window as the power goes out, and you notice something equally strange. There is a circle, almost a cul-de-sac driveway in the front of the school where the buses would come in to pick up students. There are several buses in the cul-de-sac, but there are all of the bus drivers and associated monitors are outside of their buses. Several of the buses extend out to the street, and some of them are halfway through a turn they could easily have completed. But all of the drivers are outside talking amongst each other. All the doors are open, and none of the buses are moving. You can't hear why. But it is strange.
So, Shane, having grown up in Glenbrook and grown up with the loop, he's a little bit jaded about these kind of things. Like, oh, the loop's fucked something else up again. So, losing power didn't really phase him much, especially since they made the announcement. Okay, the loop's going to be fucking with the power. But he does notice the buses like. They're not connected to the power. Okay. And at this point, he will drop any facade of trying to pay attention to the Spanish teacher, who I assume is no longer trying to teach class.
Correct.
And yeah, so he will at that point go over to the window and just kind of be staring down, just kind of see, I'm not going to be able to hear because it's the third floor. But see if I can see anything else that's going on. Anything else that drives up to the school.
Yeah,
walks up to the school, I guess.
You walk over to the side of the windows and you're looking down at this place, and you can see that there's like wild gesticulation from the drivers and confusion and pointing and like someone trying to like flag one of the buses in, and the driver waves their hands no. One of the school officials walks out of the school, and one of the bus drivers walks over. There's a communication again, wild hand movements. Your best guess is all of these buses are in fact dead for some reason.
Can I see out to the street? Can I see off of the school property?
Yeah, you can. There's a large copse of trees that sort of blocks the school directly from the road. But what you can see is there are two stopped vehicles in the road, extending past where the buses go.
Okay, so I'm not seeing any traffic like going by on the road outside the school.
Correct. Yeah, it seems like there's no moving vehicles.
Okay. Well, nice to know it's not isolated.
Yeah. John, while this is happening, you see the Spanish teacher, Miss Tappensy, is there. She has stopped giving her speech in complete Spanish, assuming that by this time you guys should be able to speak it. The second month of school. She again does the same thing as Mr. Craig, walks out to the hallway, kind of looks around, sees no emergency lighting, picks up the local phone, goes to dial the office, no signal, places the phone back on the receiver, and she looks around, and in English she says, class, please take your seats. In
the immortal words of Mr. Alice Cooper, school's out. They're not going to get this sorted in another 45 minutes.
Mr. Newman, there is still class. There's still time on the clock, and she points to the clock.
How can I read this Spanish book in the dark? You got a few candles?
She opens her drawer and pulls out a flashlight and clicks it on, and places it on your desk for your level of sass. She says, "Mr.
works so well at the back.
Mr. Newman, there is still time on the clock, so you are still my responsibility." And she points to the clock, and John, you notice that the second hand on the clock is no longer moving.
Yeah.
The second hand on the battery-powered clock is no longer.
Your clock stopped. It's electric. General Electric, I would believe.
She looks at the clock, looks down at her watch, sort of shakes her hand, puts her watch hand to her ear.
And your Honda Civic won't be starting, and I won't be helping you.
Class, I need everyone to remain in their seats. I'm going to go to the office.
At this point, Shane looks over from the window, hearing the conversation. John, you wouldn't be able to drive her bike home anyway.
Yeah, I know. This to me, it seems to be an EMP. You know, like when they dropped the nukes, and it fried all the electronics.
I don't feel radioactive.
Nah, they're usually really high in the ionosphere, but it could be something buried at the loop. They
Yeah.
could have a new way of making them.
Yeah. Either way, Miss Tappensy, everything outside is dead too. All the cars, all the buses. It's all dead.
She looks growing concern. It wears across her face, and she looks to you and says, "Please, sit down in your seats. Everyone, remain in their seats. I will be right back. I'm going to go to the office and speak with the staff." And she walks out of the room, and you can hear a couple of other sets of footsteps in the hallway, as if she is possibly not the only teacher to be doing this. And we cut back down to the first floor, where a similar scene has taken place. Fish and Danny, Mr. Craig is requesting everyone to stand by their stools at their labs, and he is going to he first twists a nozzle and cuts the main line of the gas off, thereby all the flames go out. And he looks to you guys and says,
see anything.
"Well, if you don't move, there will be no risk of injury. So please sit in your seats, and I will be right back." And again, he leaves, and while the door is swinging closed, you can hear a few more footsteps. For each set of children, it is a good 10 minutes, and your teacher has not returned. What are you doing?
Let's go.
Should we go?
Well, what are the other kids doing? They're all kind of getting antsy too, or
A lot of them are, getting antsy. They're packing their bags. Some of them looking at the clock, looking at their watches. There's a lot of confused, like, what could happen? You think this is the rolling brownouts? I thought like a brownout was just like a dip in, maybe we should just leave. If we all leave, they can't give us all detention, right? There's like a growing, like, we should just go home.
yeah.
So,
Fish is gonna walk
ahead,
to
go
the
ahead.
door. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Fish is gonna walk to the door and like just take a look down the hallway to see if she can see any of the teachers.
You see no teachers, but you do see a smattering of children who have just left their classes and said, kind of F this.
I would
Annie, come on.
follow. Yeah, I would follow Fish. So I don't know how exactly dark it is, but to make sure that we don't lose each other, if it's that dark, I would stay close to her.
Okay. It's not dark enough where like you're plunged into nighttime darkness. Like it's still like there's still light coming in from the windows. You guys can see enough. It's just like
Okay.
a shaded building, right?
And without like all that electronic noise, it's like really quiet.
Correct. Yep. So you can hear the steps of people walking down the hallway. But as you kind of like open the door and maybe step into the hallway, there's not quite a flood, but a trickle of students as they all begin to leave classrooms. It seems as though none of the teachers have returned.
I mean, if all these other kids are going out, we could just blend with them, try to stay out of trouble. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can go
Okay,
find
let's
Jojo
go.
or something. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, let's go see if we can find other ones.
Okay.
And she'll
You
go-
guys head towards the main lobby of the school. We cut back up to the third floor. John and Shane, what are you doing? Again, 10 minutes has passed and your teacher has not returned.
John's John's walking around trying to figure out if the flashlight the teacher actually gave him works. It's the closest thing with a battery he's got access to.
It does not.
Yeah.
So everyone in Glenbrook knows everyone. And I know John is one of the new kids. Have I heard anything about him being involved in other weird adventures, which I guess at this point would just be next at 6?
Unless John has told you directly, no.
Okay.
Yep.
Are any of the other kids in the room looking concerned, or are they just seeing how long they have to wait before they can leave?
There's a level of concern in like the nerds sweet calculator watch doesn't work, right? There's like how long are we going to be here? 10 minutes. If the teacher doesn't come back, we get to leave, right? That's college rules. It should apply for high school too. Somebody said, you said something about cars. My brother's car. There's like that kind of thing going on.
It's all cars a heap.
It's all vapid teenager concerns.
Sure.
And then you see somebody, you see Brittany Taylor, who is one of the popular girls. She looks around to Becky Jo Johnson, who is another one of the popular girls, and their friend Tamitha, with an M, exactly where you expect it to be. And she says, we're going to get out of here. This is absolutely ridiculous. There is only some time left of class, and I don't want to be here anymore. Let's go, Tamitha.
30 minutes, ye of literal sense of time, if you can't look at the fucking clock in the mall.
The clock is dead. So I don't know how much time has passed, and I don't want to be waiting here. I have so many better things to do. Goodbye.
Yes, with no power on.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do. If you had less grease, you would know about it.
Yeah,
anyway,
I heard about
Tamitha,
that.
we're
I heard
leaving.
about that. It's usually in a closet, isn't it? 6 minutes in heaven.
It's 7, and you would know if you were ever invited. And
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't know what I would catch. You know? Ooh, me old man told me some things. Of his overseas service.
She stands up. Becky Jo Johnson follows suit, and there's a snap of fingers, and Tamitha realizes that she is being called to service as she snaps her book closed and follows her.
Yeah. John goes, heel. Good girl.
She looks down at her heels and doesn't understand what you are talking about. They are immaculate high heels, and she knows about it. So the three of these girls leave out of the door, and when the door opens and starts to swing closed, you hear that there are people moving in the hallways. What are you two doing?
When John turns back around, Shane kind of flashes him a surreptitious. So at this point, I think Shane would probably go over to the door and just kind of peek his head out just a little bit to see if he can, make out anything that the people murmuring in the hall are saying, or if they're, if there's a direction to the herd.
Yeah, I mean, it's more murmurs of what you've been hearing, right? Like jaded children trying to leave school. And the general direction is like towards the main lobby. You know that on either end of the school, there are spiral staircases that lead down to the second floor, where there's a central staircase, and there's an open lobby that is like the front of the school where like the office is and like the hall monitor station is.
Are we seeing mostly students, or are we still seeing like a mix of students and teachers, or no
all
teachers
students? No teachers at all.
Okay.
All students.
He murmurs something about I'll be right back. And
Hey.
he's gonna go.
Mate, I've seen those movies. I'll come with you.
Okay. And he's gonna go down to the first floor.
Sure.
Taking the I'm assuming that when we go out of the door, it's turn left or turn right to get to the spirals.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Whichever one is
Okay.
closer to you, depending on what side of the building you're on. So yeah, you guys head out of there, make a beeline directly to the closest spiral staircase, head down, hit the second floor, and begin to walk towards the central staircase. You guys descend the staircase where you see the Spartan green and gold helmet emblazoned in the floor, the symbol of the high school mascot. And there's a throng of students that just sort of closes in on you as you make your way down to the second floor towards this main staircase. John, you see Danny and Fish are confused and looking around as much as everyone else is, possibly looking for Jojo, whom you don't see in front of you.
He'll just yell at her. Fisher!
Oh, hey, Johnny. And she grabs
freak.
Danny's hand. She grabs Danny's hand and pulls him towards her.
Where's
Hey, Danny.
where's the other half of the gruesome twosome? He
I don't know.
didn't show
He
up?
probably I don't know. He probably just booked it as soon as the power went out.
So
Sounds like
Shane
Julia.
is very tall. He's probably already cresting 6 feet. So he's probably literally head and shoulders above most of the rest of the kids in the school. So kind of looking over the sea of teenage humanity, do I notice anything even more out of the ordinary?
Not exactly out of the ordinary. This whole scenario, as you kind of, from your purview, plays out almost like a fire drill, right? You found the teachers. The teachers are outside, down the stone stairs that lead out to like the parking lots and out to like the bus stations. They are sort of directing kids. None of the buses are moving. None of the vehicles are moving. Everything seems to be a dead stop. And again, you notice that the big clock in the middle of the like the entranceway is also not moving, much like all the other ones you've seen. There's a few, you can see through the glass windows into the office that there's a few like animated conversations happening. Not like angry or anything like that, but like more like a concern, like, oh, why, what could be happening here? I thought it was blah, 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 right? There's, adult hand movements, appropriate adult hand movements, children. But yeah, this whole thing is being treated almost like a fire drill, where like you're being sectioned off into different areas and being accounted for, kind of thing. But nothing is going on that would seemingly, alert the kids of any danger. Everything is meant to like calm everyone down and like, oh, this is just like as you guys get closer to the door, you go, oh no, this is just what the loop had said. Remember, don't forget the loop is working with the DPW and they're working on our electricity. This is exactly what that is. Don't even worry about it.
But no thought of ventilators, hospital backup generators.
The teachers in an effort to not cause panic, mostly ignore that comment, John, as you would expect, and they begin like herding you guys. The four of you are sort of clustered together at this point, because Fish had grabbed Danny and brought him to John, who was with Trevor. Danny, I will say, for sake of narrative, you are aware of Shane, in a sense that he also hates Billy Duncan. And that's where your commonality lies. That's where your commonality ends.
They have a club. They meet under the bleachers on Wednesdays. It's the Everybody Hates Billy Duncan Society.
Danny, you're on the track team, right?
Yeah. So we would have been.
So we're both on the track team.
Perfect. Then that's exactly how you guys know each other.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they both rented Chariots of Fire.
Hey, Shane.
Yep.
Fish.
This is
John.
John.
John. Okay. You're friends with John.
We have fifth period Spanish together.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, guess we're doing this thing now. Guys. I told Fish something really strange happened before. I don't know if it's like a karate superpower or something, but
Spidey sense.
Right before this started, I got like this sense that something was super wrong. Like, the hair standing up, and it started to smell. That weird electrical smell, like
ozone
smell. I don't know. Maybe my parents smell it like all the time when they come home from job.
Like before a thunderstorm?
Yeah. Like when
ever seen a
electricity in the air kind of smell. And then
Vandergraaf generator?
No, shh. And I heard this sound that I talked to Fish and she didn't hear it. It sounded like a car driving by, like boom, boom.
Danny, this is why most of the rest of the track team calls you the weird kid. You know that, right?
But
Danny's not weird. He's Swedish.
I thought they called him the weirdo.
I'm Swedish.
As in Daniel LaRusso, but weird.
Daniel LaRusso isn't weird, and I'm not weird. Daniel LaRusso is like super radical.
He's awesome, and he has a cool Ford.
He's a really good actor. Okay.
Right.
No.
And she looks at Danny and like,
Ralph Macchio is the actor. Daniel LaRusso is the character. Fish.
Everyone, roll me investigate.
Sure, we'll get there eventually.
Gladly.
But yeah, it's an EMP, is what it is.
Nothing.
Nada.
nothing for me.
There we go. Investigate. Submit. I am the master of investigation.
Danny, you are on a new level today. You look around as you're explaining this, and your explanation is sort of getting washed over by John's explanation of what it is, right? And you look around and you see something strange. Perhaps it was, maybe you suction cupped the goggles on too tight. You're not entirely sure. Maybe there's a little bit of a blur, but you see people in the crowd, and it's like if you've ever opened your eyes underwater in a chlorinated pool where you have those like sort of rings when you look at the light. You look at, there's a couple of people just to your right, and you see them, and it looks like somebody just took a thumb and just rubbed out their edges. They just sort of blend into the surrounding. And as you kind of like look back towards your friends, just over the shoulder of Fish, there's a few more people that are just like rubbed out on the edges. They don't quite look right. They're like a little blurry right? And
Yep.
you look back, you look at Shane, and like under his arm, you can see there's a few more people where you can see like their arm and leg and backpack are just sort of rubbed out. They're just off. And as you look around, one of the people that you see that it's rubbed out, you turn back towards Fish to maybe explain what the hell's going on here. You see the exact same person, not rubbed out.
So, or is it just one person who's not rubbed out anymore, or did all the rubbed out stop being rubbed out?
You saw a rubbed out person and an identical not rubbed out person.
Okay. Oh, now I get it. Hey, Fish, guys, very carefully, look. And he will like try to, very discreetly point out the blurred out person to next to Fish, and at the same time the not blurred out. Aren't that the same guy? Over there, see the blurred out one, and then there's the not blurred out one. And he's going to try to be really discreet about it, just having been told how weird he apparently is.
Feels like an old episode of Scooby-Doo.
She's gonna look.
Icon, was that loud enough for everyone to hear? Like everyone in the group?
Yeah, Dana intended to speak to just the group of us, not the other kids.
Cool. You hear this, and Fish, you look around. I assume everyone sort of looks around at this. You all see exactly what Danny talked about. There is more and more people. You look around, and you see just passing with the crowd, a person who looks like their edges have been smudged out. And if you look hard enough, you can see the same general design of person, an exact copy that is not rubbed out.
See, must be my karate training. Now it's getting into gear.
We see it too, or I see it too. And she rubs her eyes.
Huh.
Where are they? What are they doing? What is this person?
They seem to be moving with the crowd.
Are they? Is it a kid or an adult?
Yeah, it's a kid. Everyone in the crowd is kids. The adults are all sort of pointing and gesticulating on the sidewalk, telling you where to go. Everyone that is sort of blurred out looks like a kid. Looks like a person here, and I'll say Shane, because you mentioned that you are taller. The student body of Nipsachuk Valley High School seems a lot bigger than you remember. You don't remember this many kids in the last fire drill last year, but you look around and it seems maybe almost double the amount of people, which seems strange given what's going on here. And you too can see blurred out people, and collectively, if you look hard enough, you can see people that are both blurred and not blurred.
So I'm going to go to the nearest blurred out kid that I can identify.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually going to, put my hand on their shoulder and, get their attention and try and see what happens.
This is such a weird description. Those toys that are the two plastic sheets, one of plexiglass with all the pins in them, and you sort of put your hand against it and it makes the symbol? That's what it feels like when you touch this kid. You like put your hand on it and there's like that almost like sort of encompassing weird crunch feeling as you like place this on there. And you can feel like pins and needles kind of poking back at you. You see that the blurred person looks at like where your hand touches, and you can't quite make out facial features, but it looks at your hand and then sort of looks towards you and then just sort of shakes its hand and looks back at it, like shakes its shoulder, looks back at its shoulder and just sort of nods its head no, and does like a confusing shrug and continues walking forward.
Okay, I'm going to make my way through the crowd just enough that I can stand directly in front of this same kid.
Mm-hmm. You do so, yeah. You kind of cut your way through the crowd. This kid walks forward and seemingly as if you were not there, directly into you, stops, looks around, adjusts a strap on his bag, looks at the ground, sort of pushes his hand out, and again, on your chest, you feel that same sort of like tingly pincushion feeling, and then sidesteps and walks around you.
You would see Danny putting down the eraser in his bag, because I had the same idea, but I was going to accidentally throw an eraser at them.
Yeah, no evidence like firsthand evidence. Yeah, so at this point, I'm going to come back and say that, all right, so, I mean, the loop is the loop, and we all know that the loop does weird shit, but that...
It's a given.
What?
That was not...
Fish is just like...
normally abnormal.
We got pod people. We got a case of pod people. And why couldn't
Pod
my
people?
pod person have turned up before I had to do 5th fucking period Spanish? Eh?
Mike, when
Yes.
What a world.
when Shane tried to do all that with the one kid, did his copy do the same thing, or did that react differently?
Roll me an investigate.
Oh, let's see. Can I do it?
Can
also
I
want
do
to-
that too? Because Fish is also looking.
Sure.
I do want to note that everyone beside Danny has something in investigation. And I'm the only one
Yeah,
who
you have 2 dice and you've succeeded both times.
Ah,
You can, as a reminder, Iquin, you can push the roll. You can spend luck to re-roll.
I will spend a luck just because it's funny to see.
Okay.
So the re-roll.
Nope.
No.
No successes. So you look around and you are struggling to find a copy of Shane to verify this test with. Fish, what are you looking for with your investigate?
The non-blurred copy of the person that Shane was interacting with, do they react at all to what Shane's doing?
No. You see that same person walking towards one of the teachers. There's like a brief exchange and he points towards the parking lot and the teacher nods and he walks off towards the parking lot.
Okay, so and is it more than one blurred person? Right?
Yeah, there's like hundreds.
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Okay.
I tried to see if
And they're all doing
blurred-
something different, correct?
I mean,
not,
they're
like,
all...
near-
Yeah, they're all generally doing the same thing in the sense that, like, you guys are all leaving the school, right? They are not mirroring each other.
Okay.
So I tried to find someone to see if the guy that Shane interacted with had a copy, but I couldn't see any of the copies. Too many people. Did you?
There's
see
so many of them.
Did you see if the copies do the same thing?
No, they're all doing something different. Like,
Ah, that's weird.
and she's kind of like standing there, like her arms against her sides.
Do we
'cause, like,
have
I'm assuming there's
copies?
like blurred people walking around.
yeah. Mike, can
Do
I
we
see
have
any?
blurred copies?
I was just about to ask. Can I see any blurred copies of any of the 4 of us?
Roll me an investigate.
I won't have done that.
I would love to. And once again, I will fail.
Daddy!
Danny Sorensen, super sleuth. Danny, you look around.
Never removed my goggles.
Yeah,
I can see everything.
Goggles are still on. You can see through the 4th dimension. You like tippy toes to look over the crowd. You are fairly certain you do not see a copy of any of the 4 of you.
I
I should call you weird more often. Apparently, it works.
I can't see any copies of us, you guys. It seemed to be like I don't know if we're the only one without copies, but I can't see any copies at
Oh,
all.
they broke the mold when they made you, Dan.
Thank you.
All right. How close are we to the front door?
How close do you want to be?
Enough that I can see outside and see what is happening to the blurred copies when they actually leave the school.
Great. I assumed you guys were outside on the front steps. So you are in between the 2, like the double set of doors, right? You look outside and you see these copies are sort of just going like this the same way everyone else is going, right? Either to the parking lot, to the streets, to like the cut through the woods, right? And the blurred out copies continue on as far as you can see.
Okay.
And that's all that's all you get.
Can I still see the kid that walked through me?
Sure. Okay, he's headed towards the parking lot.
Okay. I give a to these other 3, and I want to follow him.
Okay.
Danny would
And-
follow.
Yeah, as they're walking, Fish kind of loops her arm through Danny's arm, and she's like, "What if it's some kind of weird time loop thing, like before
I
at
don't
school?"
know. I know.
We kick it in the head. I don't know.
This time
Like
we managed
before
to
and
get
after.
out of. This time we managed to get out of school, and I don't think there were copies when we're in the time loop. So I think this is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, but what if it's the same? Like, what if that device is back on the roof? She's
Danny
gonna look.
Danny would also look over his shoulder to like instantly just what is it there?
What are you guys talking about? Devices on roofs? Is it like that thing we found in the woods?
Kind of a thing
no.
on top of the school. I don't know what
Yeah.
you found in the woods.
Yeah, we had detention a couple weeks ago, and
Ooh,
she's talking. to
Surprise!
Hey,
Whatever.
Listen.
And
You're a bad seed.
and some weird stuff started happening, and then she glances at Shane because he's new to being here, and yeah, so we had detention, and then we went home, and then we woke up, and it was the same day as it was before, and we had to go back to detention.
Yeah, it was so many detentions.
Yeah,
Oh.
and then it was like some kind of time loop, and then
Yeah.
there was like there's these weird vans outside, and then we followed some weird energy things, and then we went up to the roof.
Yeah.
We
didn't go-
teleported onto the roof.
Yeah, we then went in like to the basement, and then we like teleported up onto the roof, and there was like this
Yeah.
bunch of machines up there, and I think Jojo shot it, and then sort of stopped working. No, Jojo.
Jojo's never had access to firearms. I mean,
No,
this
no,
parole
no.
officer would have a lot to say about that.
He's never been to jail.
No, I don't think he's been to jail. I've never heard him going to jail.
No,
But
Just do
Jojo's
Like,
Jojo's a good kid.
found a gun, guys. We found a gun, and he shot.
Danny, he shot.
But it was super cool. I thought you were allowed to have guns. This is like America. Doesn't everyone have guns here?
Everybody needs at
No.
least 6 per person. I thought it was
No.
state law.
I also thought everyone had guns here.
No, we're too far north for that.
No.
Not enough bears, I think.
You must.
Yeah.
You have to be in the south to have guns.
More wildlife, yeah. So yeah, at this point,
Banjo.
Shane is
So anyway, there was a device on the school, and we think that's what was causing us to like go in circles, and have to keep repeating the same day.
And
What
you
if-
think this EMP thing is caused by the same thing? I mean, it's
Maybe.
fascinating from a temporal mechanics perspective. You're describing a time loop. It's theoretically possible.
I
Yeah.
don't think this is a time loop. And I
Nope.
don't.
No,
Like
I know. But
There's
like,
no machine,
And time doesn't seem to have stopped either.
No,
no, but the clock stopped. Like all the batteries are dead. Is that
Mhm.
what that is? Like, how does that happen? They're all broken, so time has stopped.
but if time
No.
is
Time's a construct, but
everyone would be standing still. I've seen like that in movies. Like if time stops, everyone was like,
So why are all these extra kids around? But like
I
they're
don't
not
know.
extra. They're like, it's got to be something. And she looks
maybe
really
it is.
nervous.
Maybe it is pod people, like John said. I don't know.
do any of the copies or does anyone copy or otherwise pay any attention to all this that's going on, or
No.
are we okay?
No one else seems to be bothered or perhaps notice the copies.
No one notices. See?
Okay. Where is our friend heading?
So I assume this conversation is taking place as you are walking, following this person towards the parking lot on the side of the school. You see them weave through cars. At this point, you see coming from like a few rows over, perhaps, but basically the same trajectory is their copy. Right, so it's the blurred out person you're following and the not blurred out version of them that you would assume is real. They are both on the same trajectory to arrive at the same car, roughly at the same time. So you guys get to the edge of the parking lot and you can see across the whole parking lot, and you kind of watch this happen as there is a moment where the two of them meet at the door. And I'll say, Shane, you noticed this more than anyone else. There is a moment of like the two things bump into each other, and there's that same sort of like, ooh, like a breeze just gave me like a chill kind of thing, right? And both of them like look towards each other and sort of look around to see like, oh, did like a bug land on me? Did I like something fall, like a leaf or something? And they look, and neither one of them seem to really notice anything. They sort of shrug it off. Keys both go into a door. The door opens, and simultaneously both sit in the car, and in the driver's seat, and the car drives off.
Well, it
Okay,
seems to be
so-
solving itself. Also, the battery worked. Join me, I believe, for an experiment. Now, where the fuck are my keys?
When they interacted
Mhm.
with each other, were their movements actually mirroring each other, or was it
No.
just two people having? Okay,
Yep, two people arriving simultaneous. You hear
Okay,
that
and-
car vroom, to life. John, as soon as you say, join me for an experiment, you hear all of the buses simultaneously turn back on.
Wow. There's a lot of hundreds of dollars of exhaust work need doing to the county buses. They sound like crap.
With the diesel,
that-
you know.
Have that smell and
I don't sound
feeling
right.
thing that was just passing that then noticed. It hasn't been continuously being like an ozone
Correct.
smell.
Yeah, it was like a wave kind of washing over you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Did it was it like just one car that left? It wasn't like these two like interchangeable cars, like one smeared out.
No, one car left.
No,
One car.
they interjected in the car.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure so they didn't like create a secondary car while when they were sitting down in it.
That would be
Yeah,
cool.
they
Though.
That would be
That would be cool.
amazing for the used car sector, though.
She looks at her watch. Is it working now?
It is. It is working, and the time is current.
So there's no missing time.
Correct.
I don't know. What do you think we should do, guys? That's super weird.
Maybe it's just in the school.
Extremely localized.
Yeah.
How far away from the school are they? Roughly?
Like if you,
the
the
building?
four of you from the school,
Yeah.
10 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
we
She's
could-
gonna-
The school, like imagine the school being long and the parking lot's on one side of it. So you went from the front door along the long side to the parking lot. So like you're probably in the street. So there's sidewalk, stairs, and school, and then maybe 5-10 feet to the next car.
should we
Okay,
head
so
in
she's gonna-
again?
Yeah, she nods and she's gonna go back like into the building.
You go back into the building and all the lights are on.
It's over, she calls to them.
Okay. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was
Ow.
like when it happened. I heard like this sound. Like when cars drive by, it becomes like different because of like physics and stuff. Maybe it was just like one wave that went through, and now the like wave, and then it settled again, and now we're back to reality.
A period of
Yeah.
unreality.
I don't know.
Fifth
I mean,
period of unreality.
I was about to say that's Spanish every day for me.
Yeah, it's like my grandparents have a place on the Costa, and it's like they don't speak Spanish there the same as they speak in fifth period.
Okay, so I guess it's over now?
I don't know, but if everything's
Okay.
working,
Yeah, so now that
Yes.
everything is coming back on, are the doubles, the copies still wandering around?
Great question, G. No. You look around, they all seem to be gone.
Well, that was me suggesting we find copy Billy Duncan and beat him fucking up. But
Mhm.
I
You don't need to
mean,
beat people up.
for sport, he deserves it.
I kind of
Not gonna argue that one.
Can't just go beat up, even if it is Billy Duncan. Do it in the dojo, then you can do it and say it's training.
First law of karate for defense only.
But you can
I saw that movie.
No, you can train and compete in karate. And that's why we, train in the dojo. And then, sometimes he tries to sneak in punches on me, but I sneak in some punches on that. I'm not gonna say what I was saying because there might be adults listening, but yeah.
We're in school and school is finished. I think the adults have all fucked off home.
I would
Yeah,
never
so she
suggest
kind
that someone might trip him when we're at track practice.
Yeah.
I would never suggest that.
I would never consider it, accidentally, repeatedly hitting him in the face with a locker door.
Fish kind of looks a little like, all right, well, everything's back to normal now, so I guess it was nothing.
Yes,
Well, that's what they want you to think.
should
So
we
what
go-
what time is it now, Mike?
School has officially ended. The time has caught up
Okay.
to you guys. So it's about 1:45.
Like I've seen in movies, like
When I
people
got
go
out of, we got out of high school at 1:30.
I hate you.
Sorry. We also went into school at like 6:30. So like homeroom was started at 7.
Dude.
Yeah.
I started at 8 and went to 5
Cat.
Well,
every day.
American education there, the Highquin.
It's Rhode Island being special.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 1:45, like between 1:45 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, then I would be like, hey guys, I've seen like also and in like when if they hunt ghosts, they use like this gadgets thing. Should we go?
Are you
get,
talking
like,
about?
gadget?
Oh yes, I will go to my shop and find my PKE meter there, Egon. It's clearly a class 5 free floating phantasm. That's the.
I have no
explained
idea
it.
if you.
That
I don't know if you're
that joke would have
serious or
landed
if
so much
you're-
better if you'd gotten the words out the first time. Just saying.
I know.
I have no idea, John, if you're serious or not. But I mean, they're not kind of ghosts, but they're kind of ghosts. And if we have gadgets, maybe
Dan
that
Aykroyd's quite serious about the existence of them.
are fish. What do you think?
Maybe. Wait a second.
know.
And she's gonna run to like maybe like the closest car to her, and she's gonna hop up onto the bumper and onto like lean onto the trunk. So she's like standing on the car, and she's gonna look for any kind of weird vans that say New England Positronics or Twin Rivers Semaphore.
Yeah, you look around, and there are no weird trucks.
Any LeBarons
close.
around.
So
No, there are no LeBarons around.
Okay.
It's good to know that people have car taste.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there are not.
is there a guy
Mitchell-
standing holding a big sign that says "I am the weird guy"?
Yeah, there's like there's a man in a full hazmat suit standing next to a man in a full business suit, and they both hold sign that says "I'm the bad guy."
Thank you. That would be
I'll be watching you.
Yeah, so
They
you
would have
see
got away with it with us meddling kids doing nothing.
more and more of the students are headed to their buses, their respective buses, their cars, etc. The buses, again, like I said, they start up. They begin to move through that cul-de-sac so that more buses can sort of come in, and you begin to see traffic continue down the main road where the school is. But everyone seems to have reconciled what's going on. The power is back, and they are getting in their vehicles and leaving for the end of the day. School's out for the week. The four of you are huddled together on the sidewalk facing the parking lot. What are you doing? You seem to be the only ones to have noticed anything strange.
How close are the bike racks to the parking lot right now?
They're about 20 feet behind you. You got to go back around the side. They're on the front of the school.
Okay, so we could. We could probably, if I grab my bike, we could probably follow that guy. I'd love to see where he goes.
The guy
Guy's a
that-
Camaro. You're
The guy that
never
left
gonna
in the
keep up.
car earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in a car.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
Camaro. You're never gonna keep up. That might have been
Yeah.
a V6, but it was
Probably.
still.
He may have just gone back to his home with everyone.
Yeah. I think-
But how
I-
come we didn't have copies?
I don't know. That's why I
Because we're
wanted to get
special, fish.
gadgets. Like when you have gadgets, they like tell you, information and you get to know stuff. That always works in the movies. You just take a gadget and then it tells you like what's the wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So where do we get these
Yeah,
gadgets?
we
from?
need an
I
ego.
don't know.
Danny,
I'm afraid I'm a Ray.
this is not me directing you into plot at all. I just want to see what happens when I say this. You know who might have gadgets? Mr. and Mrs. Sorensen.
So, guys, like the smell. Sorry to say it again, but it smelled like my parents, and my parents
No,
work
like mum's
for-
meatballs.
And my parents work for the loop, so maybe they have gadgets that we can use.
Mine does, but my dad does, but he's a prat.
Yeah, but my parents
What
are
does that
actual
mean?
military scientists for the loop.
He's an engineer, so he's basically the guy they send for coffee.
I mean, it's kind of close by. We can bike there. My house, that is, like where we might find stuff.
Okay.
Um,
yeah.
How close are we to the hospital, and how close do I know where Danny lives? And if so, how close is the hospital to his house?
The hospital is on like the very outside edge of town because this is a small town. It doesn't really have its own hospital.
Okay.
So it's more like a county hospital. Via bicycle, you're probably looking at like a good 25 minute jaunt via bike.
Shane, it'll take me 10 minutes. I'll run you out there first.
And from Danny's, Danny's closer to the school than it is the hospital. Yeah, like Danny's probably like 10, 15 minutes from the school via bike.
Okay, so it would not be practical to swing by the hospital on the way.
You should probably.
I would imagine no.
You would probably know where Danny lives. Like if we're doing track together, you would probably have been over at some point just to say hello to the parents or whatever. Like
yeah,
that's
what I was figuring.
Okay, I guess we can try going to your house, but your parents are gonna. They're not gonna. Are they gonna let me in?
I
It'll
mean,
work. It's 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock on a Friday. They're at work.
They're probably at work. They usually work late, even on Fridays. You know, Swedish people have a different schedule than I've seen Americans have. Looking at
they take a nap in the middle of the day.
Time zones.
We Europeans are just more hardworking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she looks at her watch. Man, my dad would be asleep right now, so I guess.
Yeah, I mean, my parents never explicitly said that you can't come in. They were just kind of mad that I got into trouble. So if we don't get into trouble, it should be fine.
Okay, let's go. She's gonna run to her bike.
The most famous of last words. Yeah, I would imagine they know of you, especially if you like came by for like track related reasons. They're aware of you. The motto for Glenbrook is everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So everyone is at least
everyone's business.
Yeah, everyone is at least associated with everybody. Like they know who you are. Oh yeah, you're the Hughes kid, right?
Yeah.
Fine, you guys there after a brief Dairy Queen run. Who wants anything?
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're going.
Yeah, I want a hot caramel sundae, large, please.
That sounds good. I also want one of those. Easier if it's the same order. Get all that
just
on your bike?
Just a Coke.
Get that new Coke.
Thanks.
So yeah, John, you head off on your. You head off on your. No one liked that. You head off on your motorcycle, making a stop at the local ice cream store that is closing. Is closing for the season. This is the last week they'll be open. It is not a Dairy Queen. We don't actually have those up here. It's a place called Cool Licks, which is an actual ice cream place from my childhood. And you are able to get.
John's got one of these punch cards, and he's going to get his free scoop.
There you go. So you get your free scoop. There is a whatever the hell fish ordered in
hot
duplicate
caramel sundae.
Yeah.
Large.
In duplicate for Danny and a Coke for Shane that you all securely place in the sidecar of your motorbike. And you head
a little drink carrier thing.
Yeah, it's like one of the car hop things that clips onto the side.
John stole one of those.
Yeah. You head towards the Sorensen residence, and you arrive there casually and well rested from riding your motorcycle as Danny, Fish, and Shane sweatily come to a halt on the driveway, having ridden their bikes there the entire way. Serendipitously, you arrive at the same time. Danny, describe your home. Yeah, well, that's fair. Danny, describe your home. This is the first time we've been to the actual. Well, that's not true. It's the second time we've been here, but describe what the Sorensen residence looks like.
I would say it is like one of those middle class kind of 2-story houses that I would say that since Danny's father is from Chicago, he would have gone and opted for the all American, like super American stuff. So it has this front yard, the garage is connected to the house. That's actually very uncommon in Sweden. So it would be kind of that. Danny's room is on the second floor, I think we established at some point. And it would be like super Americanized since he wanted to show off to his kid and wife since they moved from Sweden to the US. It would have like all those little what do you call them? Like, you know, the little things you put in your garden to show who you support politically, or
Yeah.
like
Little
patriotism.
flags.
It's an election year.
Yeah, but like those kinds of stuff, like oh, America, and like land of the free stuff.
Home sweet home with like
like the doormat with everything, and when I was young, I was a like latchkey kid, so I would say Danny's as well. So he has his own key to the house.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so it's very
And,
Americana.
He also established that there's an obscene amount of bushes.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, but that's like I was actually picturing it. Like there's this lawn going around with a lot of bushes and like well trimmed. Probably pay someone to come and trim it for them.
Yeah, it's the symbol of middle class opulence is well trimmed bushes.
Yeah, so
I thought it was a sauna.
Yeah, but
no.
Danny would just take charge, go up, and just dump his bicycle in front of the front porch, like out of the way for the cars, but still like it's not like kids do.
Yeah, so you all sort of dump the bikes off. Danny pops out his key ring, opens the door, and you walk in. And in standard mid-70s construction, you walk in and off to the right-hand side is a living room with sort of a wraparound sofa, a moderately sized television. Behind that is a kitchen nook that leads into a linoleum and wood kitchen. And right in front of the door, there is a short set of stairs up, and that ends at a landing, and that's the hallway where all the rooms are. And on the back side of the stairs is a door that would lead to a hallway that would have the basement and the garage attachments. So, Danny, where do you lead your friends?
I would go
as you look for stuff.
Like first, when we walk in, I would be like, "Okay, guys, this is a Swedish thing, but no shoes inside the house. You need to remove your outside shoes. We don't go in with shoes. So that's
She'll
the thing.
kick them off.
Yeah,
John's met Swede before. He's already struggling with the back zip of his motorcycle boots.
So Danny would also have, and you would see like there is like shelves and stuff to put your shoes, and there would probably be like just random slippers, because it's not super common in Sweden, but some people actually have slippers that you can use, and there would be like the old ones that you don't use yourself anymore. So there would be like random assortments of slippers.
Visiting a Swede's house, it's like going bowling. Like it.
Most Swedes actually just walk around in their socks inside. That's kind of the main thing here.
Fish will just wear her socks.
So shoes pop off, and you guys head down the back hallway towards the garage. You pass by the door that leads down to the basement. Danny, you open the garage door, reach over, flick the switch, and the overhead light comes on. And what's in this garage? Is it a vehicle garage, or is it like a workshop garage?
I would say a bit column A, column B. So there would definitely be like a space to work, and there would be like tools and stuff, and like what is it called? Those like punctured things on the wall where you can hang tools from. One of those
pegboard.
Pegboard with like random tools hanging from there. There would be like shelves with plastic containers having like wires coming out and stuff for random stuff and tools his father would have.
Yeah,
but there would be like a place for at least one vehicle to be inside the garage as well.
Typical, like it. So you see this scene. There's a bunch of pegboards. Each pegboard has tools, and the tools are outlined in thick Sharpie. Like this is where this one tool goes, right? Everything is very organized. You see the classic Americana second fridge, the garage fridge, right next to a wall locker, like a two-door wall locker, and a bunch of like yard paraphernalia, as well as what I can only imagine to be some sort of strange science paraphernalia that has collected itself here in boxes, some old picture frames, some old trophies, some things written in Swedish, and I almost said things written in Sweden. I mean, I guess they could be written in Sweden as a place.
And they brought them with them.
Yeah.
I mean, they would probably be written in Sweden if they are in Swedish.
In Swedish, yeah.
Right in Swedish.
That's true. So yeah, that's what you see in this garage. Danny, what are you looking for here?
I would think Danny would just bring out random electrical tools. So it would probably be like first one of those like voltmeters, and like, do you think this will do it?
No, that's a voltmeter.
I don't know tools. This is my dad's tools. He tried to show me, and I kind of didn't really listen. I know this, and it takes out like a socket wrench. Like this goes to my bike if I want to take off the wheel, and it takes off like a screwdriver. And like this is a screwdriver that for bike stuff. That, and then it brings out like lubricant. Like this is for my chain. And my knowledge stops here. I mean,
Danny, you take a look around at all the pegboards of tools, and you, much to your dismay, you realize that none of them are labeled ghostometer. So that's a big letdown there. They're all labeled mundane tools. And as you're like searching through these boxes, these milk crates, for an apparatus, a ghost apparition catcher, or some sort of device that does not exist, you again feel the hair. The hair on the back of your arms and the back of your neck raise, and you smell that familiar ozone smell, and you again hear that whoom noise.
Happening. Do you hear it? Do you feel it? The hair. I hear the whoom. I can smell the electricity smell. It's happening now.
What?
Fish, is your clock working? Watch thingy.
As Danny points it out, you all smell that same smell. You notice the same things, and you all hear the whoom.
Here we go again.
It smells like my TV. Like when I sit too close to it smells like my TV.
Your TV smells like ozone?
Yeah, when you sit too close to the boob tube, and then you feel the static.
Yeah, with the old tube TVs, when you click the yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. What unlocked a memory right there. With that like beep, that noise. Yeah. So you hear that whoomp noise, and the overhead light turns off, and Fish, if you're looking at your watch, it stops.
Yeah. It stopped. My watch stopped.
Right. Is there any clones of us? And Danny would look around for all four of us to see if we suddenly have clones.
Yeah, you look around and you do not have clones. You do not hear you do not see any clones of the four of you. But Danny, you hear like a faint noise coming from back down the hall. Everyone else, you may hear it as well, but this isn't your house. You're not familiar with the noises it makes. Danny, you are intimately familiar with the noises your house makes, and that isn't one it should be making.
Right.
His house could make weird loop science noises all the time.
Shh, John, especially you need to be quiet. There's a
Never.
weird noise. Come, follow. And he will go towards that noise.
Yeah, you lead your friends back down. You lead your friends back down the hallway into the like intersectional area of the house where like the door, the hallway meets the living room, meets the kitchen. And there is a smudged out version of a woman in your kitchen. She is opening cabinets that do not actually open and pulling out dishes that seem to phase through the wooden cupboards, and appears to be preparing a meal.
Does she look like my mother?
She looks like a very smudgy version of your mother.
I think Fish kind of jumps in surprise, like, oh my God.
It's a great night, everybody. We're eating ghost food.
Whoa.
Hey, Danny would switch into Swedish since he's talking to his mom. Hey, Mom, are you home? I have some friends over. Hope that was okay.
There is no response from this mother.
So yeah, you would hear like garbled Swedish, but he would switch back to English for like talking to you guys in a hushed tone. Like, she kind of looks like my mom, but I tried to ask her if it was okay. I had friends over in Swedish, and she didn't respond. She usually, at least acknowledge me. I mean, she doesn't do that, the whole I can't hear you thing.
She's gonna reach onto the counter and pick up like an apple from like the basket, and she's just gonna toss it onto the floor.
Onto the floor?
Yeah.
There's now an apple on the floor.
No
Shane's going to go to the front door.
Mother?
Nope, no reaction.
Okay.
Shane?
Shane's going to go open the front door and see if there's any foot traffic. I don't know how busy your neighborhood is, Jenny, but see if there's any like foot traffic and see if there are any more smudged copies of anyone outside. Yeah,
you head out the front door and kind of give a look around. You see that there is not a ghost copy, but there is a man, somewhere in his 30s, that is like on the street, probably a few houses down, that is outside of his car, and he's kicking the tire on it. The hood is up, No smoke coming out of it, but the car seems to have stalled dead where it was in the middle of the road.
This is super weird. My mom should be at work right now. And Danny would go over and touch his mom on like her upper arm, to like slightly press her.
Yep, it feels like that same sort of weird pincushion toy, and you sort of like press into her. She looks down at the arm, like where like you kind of put an arm around her, and she looks back to like where you are, and you can see like a very vacant expression of what you can see with like the smudged face, and it seems to like look right through you, and then she sort of rubs her arm, and then turns back to whatever she was doing.
So at that point, Shane was probably coming back in just in time to hear him say, my mom should be at work. And he said, I think she is, actually.
Yep.
Because that's not her.
I agree. This is super weird.
Iquin, for my own use to torture you, is it Annika or Anika?
Annika.
Annika.
The correct pronunciation would be Annika, but...
Great. Well, I'm not going to butcher that. So, Annika, it is. You hear the creaking and groaning of stairs, a noise you're familiar with. Everyone's sort of familiar with this, but like Danny, you know what that is. There's someone moving in the basement, either up or down the stairs, and you hear the click of a latch, and as if it's being shouted from underwater, you hear Annika or Anika? Annika? Annika. That's right. That's what we just said. We just said that. Annika, coming from underwater. Like that same, they're like, blah, 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 blah.
We all hear this?
You all can hear it.
Okay.
Does it sound slightly like my dad's voice? Like
It does. It does sound slightly like your dad's voice. If your dad was calling for your mom underwater.
I was just about to say, I think your other dad's home.
Yeah. That sounds like vaguely like my dad. And I think Danny would call out. He would like call out kind of loudly, like, Dad?
You call out. There's no response, but you sort of turn to where you heard the noise coming from, and there is a smudged version of your dad walking down the hall from the basement towards you.
I would like get out of the way from him so he could like pass, and like, guys, I have no idea, but my dad just came from the basement, and I mean, should we go down and look what he was doing?
Yeah, and
So
Fish is like
where I
glued
keep-
to Danny's side.
That's where I keep my weird science shit, in the basement.
Usually they
And-
get weird science shit at work, but
Do they
Yeah,
appear
right.
to be reacting to any loss of power on their side?
No, they are not.
Okay.
Shane, you had a question?
Yeah. I hate to ask if we can rewind, but would there have been time between when we heard the voice coming from underwater and when Shane's dad showed up for me to get to the basement door?
No. Only
Okay.
because you heard the creaking of stairs and then the noise. That was the dad walking up the stairs. So
Okay.
you would be like at the door at the same time as him opening the door.
Okay.
If you want to look down that hallway when you heard the creaking noise, you would notice the door did not actually open.
That's what I was going to do. I was going to open the door and see if that, how his dad reacted to that.
Yeah, you see the door, like you see the arm swing through the door.
Okay.
And the door doesn't actually open, and then you see him like come into full view. So yeah, Danny, he is walking towards the kitchen, and again, there's that like underwater kind of conversation, and your mother turns to him, and they begin conversing about something. It's difficult to make everything it is. If you'd like to roll me, since they're your parents, and you're used to hearing what they say through floors, you can roll me a comprehend.
Comprehend underwater Swedish.
Yeah.
I would think that they actually spoke in English since Dad is American.
I was just about to say, even worse, it's Swinglish.
My mind is on roll. 2 dice in comprehend, and I just
Great. This is the most intelligent Danny has been the entire
It's like
series.
He's incredibly zen.
Smart boy.
Yeah.
This is why we're building him a zen garden. So we can
This is
balance
Danny's
it
one
at
shot. Danny, since you're there, you're basically standing right next to your parents because you had just placed your hand on your mom, and you hear this underwater garbled, "Honey, I think I've done it. I think I've figured it out. It's taken it's taken like 2 years, but I think I've gotten it. I'll need to speak to my boss. This is a breakthrough." And then she responds in a thick Swedish accent, "This is what we've been waiting for. This is everything we've been trying to do. This is why we moved here." And that kind of conversation continues, sort of dancing, not like avoiding the topic because you're here, but like they both know what the topic is, so it's not like being expressly said out loud. But your dad has seemed to have made some sort of a breakthrough that is of significance to the reason you originally moved here.
I would go over to the other ones, and since they seem to not be able to hear us, I would just in normal speaking voice convey the message that I heard. Like, my dad has made some kind of breakthrough. I have no idea. Like, they usually don't talk about their work. I mean, I don't really care anyway, but they're super secretive about what they do usually, military stuff and such. But apparently dad made some breakthrough, and it's probably in the house for some reason. I have no idea.
What was he working on?
I don't know. They do loop stuff. I mean, secret military loop stuff. They're both military scientists. They don't talk about their job, like, ever.
Can I possibly roll a comprehend or maybe an investigate to find out? Can we pinpoint where, like, the origin of that sound is,
Or at least maybe the direction it came from? Yeah.
What sound?
The womb sound, the one the sound that happens before the EMP goes off. EMP.
Yeah,
I just
'cause you
wanted to,
did
like,
say we all
can
hear
we?
at that time.
Yeah.
Whether or not, like, I don't think that, I'm not sure if this is rare or not, but like if it happens to be like coming from the basement or something like that.
Okay, yeah. You don't have to roll for that. It is not coming from the basement. What I will say for Danny specifically, the direction you felt it pass through you in school is the same direction you felt it pass through you in the garage. So it seems as though wherever you are, the point of origin was the same, and that wave just went whoop. So if it like came from the east to the west as it passed through you in school, it also came east to west in your garage. The point of origin not being the garage itself.
Okay, maybe we go downstairs. Maybe
I think we need to go downstairs and look. I mean, we can't get in trouble. My parents can't see or hear us. So, I mean, there's no, like, they haven't forbidden me from going down the basement. I'm just forbidden, from touch some of the stuff.
Is that where your dad works?
Mostly.
Like,
I mean, like you said, he mostly works in his office. I don't really know. It's not like I'm like, "Oh, Dad, what are you doing down in the basement all the time?" No.
Evil science shit.
They work for the loop. They're not evil. They try to make, something, I guess.
They're strict. They're not evil.
They're not evil. Okay, guys, then my parents are not evil.
I didn't say they were evil. I said they're strict, but they're not evil.
Yes, thank you.
Potato.
No.
Let's just go down, and Danny would head over to the door that he knows goes down to the basement.
Okay. You head down there. You open the door. No resistance. Door opens. Carpeted stairs. Head down. And you, I assume, like, instinctively, like, hit the light switch. No light turns on as you begin to descend down the stairs.
Oh, right. No light. Okay, guys.
Oh, I got it. And she pulls out her key fob pen light.
Yep. You click it and no light is produced.
Do you have a lighter? John, do you have a lighter?
Yeah,
For
sure.
some reason, I suspect you to have a lighter.
He just sparks it up.
One rule. Don't touch anything, okay? Simple.
Do you guys keep your candles down here? Because brownouts and blackouts, they happen a lot around here.
I guess somewhere, maybe.
In typical...
Do they have an emergency kit or anything?
I mean, they would probably have some kind of emergency stuff, like the common stuff, like a flashlight somewhere.
There's a hurricane coming.
Yeah, my parents have stuff. I just don't really keep track of exactly where. Is there somewhere?
John,
could I roll for something to just sort of try to remember where emergency stuff would be?
If your spare things aren't in the garage, they're in the basement, right? So like spare toilet paper, extra canned goods would be in the basement. So you would imagine a an emergency kit for any kind of like national emergency would be in the basement.
Yeah, we probably have a lantern somewhere around here, like an oil powered.
Oh,
And Danny would like look for one. You know those like lanterns you have that goes on oil.
Storm lantern. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Lantern.
I'll go ahead and look as well.
in typical Dungeons and Dragons fashion, I'd like to know in which order do you descend the stairs?
I would say Danny would head down because he knows his way around, so he knows where the lamp switch is, where the stairs go, and so on.
Okay, so Danny first.
And then Fish, because she's freaked out, so she's literally like glued to his side. I don't know if she's holding his hand or something, or if she's holding her arm is through Danny's arm.
Don't tell Jojo.
Why?
You'll figure out in a year. John and Shane, where are you in this order of march?
We're at the back, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, Shane's probably next, simply because I naturally walk fast.
Great. Perfect. So you all descend. Danny, unfortunately, you have felt this feeling before just recently. You begin to walk down the stairs and you step on like the fourth stair down of like 8 of them. And it starts at your toes. And as you descend another step, it reaches to mid calf towards knee. And every step you take, every move you make, you feel that pin cushion. Yeah. You feel that pin cushion pressure on your whole body.
I thought you were gonna feel a cease and desist from Gordon Sumner.
Danny would stop as soon as it just reaches his toes and stop at that step and be like, "Guys, I feel it. Fish, do you feel it? Like put your foot on here on my step. Do you feel it?"
She'll slowly take a step down.
You feel for the first time that same like toy feeling, like that pin cushion, except at where everyone was sort of pressing into it. You feel it like pressing into all parts of you. The same kind of feeling where like you put your foot underwater, you can feel that like water pressure.
Yeah.
Guys, it feels like, when you touch the copies, that kind of feeling, but from just stepping down on this step. So I don't know, be mindful, and then it would take like another step, like slowly, like when you're not sure if the step would keep your weight, he will go that kind of slow and searching with his feet to see what happens when he moves down.
Same thing happens. You take another step down and you feel more of it. And every step you take, it begins to like work its way up your body. And by the time you reach the bottom, like the floor itself, you are completely encapsulated in that feeling. And you look around as the first person that is down here. Danny, this is not your basement. This is not the basement you remember. The basement you remember was less of a underground lab and more of like a storage / like extra shed, extra garage, slightly family room. Like there was like those plastic shelving units. There was wood paneling. This is far more cold and laboratory. Everything is cement walls. Where there once was a window leading to outside, there is no window there at all. You see a glowing, like that white blue halogen bulb sort of running in across the center beam of the basement here. You see several tables are mounted, affixed to the wall, almost like prison beds, where like they have the iron bar and the table is affixed to the bar itself, so there's no underhang. Each of them with like science-y equipment, right? There's like a weird electronic glow coming from all of these. You have no idea what these devices are.
They're all functioning, like running on power.
They are all functioning on some level of power.
Guys, this isn't my basement.
I was just gonna say
These things have power.
Interesting. But, if it quacks like a mad science lab, it waddles like a mad science lab, it's probably a mad scientist.
Lab. He's not a mad scientist. Stop it.
So so Shane heard the whole thing between Danny and Fish about stop and feel this.
Yep.
When they're there or going down further, do they look any different? Is there any visual indication of what's happening?
Yeah, since you're at the top of the stairs, you see that Danny, it's dark down here, right? Because he's the bottom of the basement. So you're not entirely sure if it's just the vision change, but Danny looks blurry.
Danny, can you hear me?
Can I hear him?
You cannot hear anyone on the stairs.
I would just ignore you then.
Good. I'll go on mute just to make sure.
Then I'll step down.
You step down and you feel that same pressure wash over you, and you see Danny just fine. And not that you were really looking for him before, and you see this strange lab. You walk in.
Really weird.
You walk in on Danny saying, "This isn't my basement, guys." Where a second ago, like he's mid sentence, and a second ago you didn't hear him saying anything.
Whoa.
Right?
This is
Yeah, it feels
John.
weird, doesn't it? And really isn't my basement. It doesn't look like this.
That's what they always say when the feds deliver the warrant.
So
That's not my
can we hear
basement,
them?
officer.
You cannot hear
Can
them,
we hear
John.
them?
No. If
Yeah,
you two are on the
it's you and me.
stairs, the two of you on the stairs cannot hear the two of them in the basement.
Yeah, say it's you and me on the stairs, buddy.
All right.
and so she'll look back. She's gonna look back at the others and be like,
I would think Danny would instinctively just move further into the room, like, this isn't my room, like you do
Yeah.
when something is wrong, not
Yep.
like you expected.
Absolutely. Danny, you move further into the room. Fish, you look back at the stairs, and where John and Shane were, you see blurry copies of them.
Danny, they're blurry.
What?
Look.
Oh,
And she's gonna,
whoa.
Yeah. So I think what's happening is that Fish is pointing this out to Danny at the exact same moment that Shane is pointing it out to
Yeah.
John.
So
they're
you,
they're
so
pointing
you
at each
both,
other.
you both see the Spider-Man meme, but it's blurry,
Yeah.
pointing at each other.
Oh,
oh,
Shane? John?
You see this weird movement of no talking happening between you as you point. Fish, you hear Danny, Shane, and John. You guys hear each other, but there is no communication back in. Just pointing and gesticulating wildly.
Kind of nice
Holy
to be in
crap.
this quiet.
holy crap! It's so nice to. It's so quiet all of a sudden.
Okay. So Shane
Calm
Shane is going to put his hand like basically right up to the edge before I start feeling that pins and needles.
And he's motioning to us. Okay,
Yeah.
Fish will walk forward and
Yeah, you
she's gonna
walk.
put her hand.
You walk like out towards it. Are you touching hands?
Yeah.
You feel that same
Yes.
pins and needle from both sides.
And she pulls her hand back. That's fucking gross. And she's like, ew.
Ew, she touched a boy.
Yeah.
I get
That
it.
pins and needles.
Tues.
Ah, ew.
Yeah.
Please.
Yucky.
When you get older, your feelings change.
I'm never going to. Super weird. Cootie. Yeah.
Ugh.
All right, so
So it's a localized field? Okay. Whatever's producing it's down there, so I gotta go down there to turn it off.
I think Danny would just wave for them to move into the room, and then he would turn around and try to feel if the feeling is coming from any direction. The pins and needle thing, if it's like stronger in this corner or it's stronger in that corner.
Once you're on the ground, Danny, you don't feel it anymore.
Oh, okay. Weird.
You
so-
feel completely
so
normal.
I look at John and kind of smirk and say, "In for a penny, in for a pound."
Yeah,
Weird
it's usually
question.
the way this thing works.
Do
Yes,
we
weird
hear
question.
now that we're downstairs? Do we hear his parents upstairs talking? Like,
Yes, but it's coming through a floor, right? So it almost sounds the same as if it were
Okay.
you were a minute ago, right?
Okay.
So Shane is going to get. So how many stairs are there between where the field starts and the bottom of the staircase?
4.
Shane's going to jump.
You just jump down them. Okay, so
Yeah.
you sort of duck because you're about to hit that landing part. You kind of duck a little bit. You do that Mario jump, right?
Yeah.
Where you
Con save.
yeah you duck and jump at the same time, and it happens very quickly. You feel that immediate pressure all over your body of pins and needles, and then boom, you hit the ground, and that feeling is gone.
Hey, Shane, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hey,
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I
John,
will
come
I will
on.
motion back to John to see.
Sure, blurry guy. I'm a coming.
Okay.
He'll
Yeah, he will get out of the way so
slowly
that John
down.
can get down.
John, you walk all the way down, and slowly it kind of absorbs your body as you hit the bottom of the floor, and you guys are in a strange lab. It doesn't match the rest of the house. This is cement, sort of cold. Like I said, the white phosphorescent light bulbs are above you. Or the white fluorescent light bulbs, rather. This does not seem to mesh with what you've seen of Danny's much more Americana homely house, or home like friendly house.
And bunks for human test subjects.
Like
As in,
this
we-
is my.
Well,
we found your parents' secret lab.
They're not
This is
actually
all my
bunks.
parents-
They're just bolted. They're tables bolted like a prison bed would be.
Look, this is my parents' basement. Like this is not my basement. It's not supposed to look like this. This is wrong.
Are there
There's
any,
not
is there
nearly
like
enough karate stuff for it to be your basement.
No, that's
Yeah, is
that's
there
my
a-
room.
Is there a desk with like personal effects on it or anything?
Yeah, there are multiple desks. Are
will
you
go
headed
out.
over to this, like, one of the work desks? Yeah. You look around on this work desk, and there is a bunch of scientific paraphernalia. A lot of the tools are things you'd recognize, right? Like some of the things you might have seen in the chemistry class. There is a very interesting thing that looks like a screwdriver. It has like an alligator clip attached to one, like a cable with an alligator clip attached to one side, and instead of being like a Phillips head or a flathead, it's just a long needle. And the handle seems to be hollow. And a couple of other like
Good, your parents
strange.
are inventing the sonic screwdriver. Great.
It's actually a real thing my dad had growing up. It's so you can test electricity. It like the handle lights up when you touch it. I don't know what it's called, but it's cool.
I have one. I
Circuit
literally
tester.
have one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one in the back of my car.
Yeah, so you see a bunch of sciencey looking things, and Fish,
It's-
because
I would follow Fish, and like if anything is written in Swedish, he would like try to translate and help.
great. There are several things written in Swedish. You look at them, and none of them seem relevant to what you're saying. It's all like scientific documentation, and you can tell that a lot of the stuff is written in both your father's and your mother's hand. And occasionally there is a strikeout from your mother rewritten in correct conjugated Swedish. The two of you.
Believe how many times I've had to do that for people that has come here to try to learn Swedish.
Yeah.
It is not the same.
So the two of you are at this desk, and because we got a sweet little corruption bar there, you look around this desk at all the different things, all the different like sticky notes and scientific paraphernalia that is scattered across this thing, and you notice that there is a photo frame. This is one of the few personal affects on this table. It is a very simple, one of the plastic like L-shaped ones where you just sort of slide the photo in. It is a picture of your parents, Danny. Danny,
Picture of Fish.
It's not in them.
Danny, you know this picture. This picture is in the family room, like up in the living room upstairs. It sits on top of the TV mantle where your TV is, and you were here. This is the first time you came to America, and your father took you sightseeing to show you how awesome America was. This is a natural landmark. This is Danny Sorensen and the Sorensen family at the Grand Canyon. You pick up this photo, and on the back of it, it doesn't say Annika and Richard Sorensen. It says Annika and Richard Smith.
This is weird. I know
sorry.
this photo. This is like when we went to the Grand Canyon, but my parents' names are wrong. This is my dad's name, but he changed it to my mom's name because I guess he thought it was cooler.
Sorry,
Is
Danny.
Danny in the
My
photo?
friend.
He is not
Yeah,
in the
this is-
photo.
Danny's not in the picture. Okay, that's what I was.
It's an
afraid.
alternate universe, mate. It's like the Twilight Zone. It's a what
Yeah.
if? What if your parents decided to go by the absolute top hole handle of Smith and didn't
But-
have kids?
But look, he's.
You
not
don't want
in
to be
this
called
picture.
Daniel Smith, believe me.
Danny's not in this picture. I've seen this. I've seen this picture before.
Yeah,
up
it's
in the
upstairs on the
living
mantle, isn't it?
It's upstairs, but I'm in the picture, and yeah, like my parents' names are wrong, but I mean, I know this picture. It's like beside me not being in it, this is from the Grand Canyon, and like the way I remember it, we came here and Dad wanted to show me like all the awesome things in the US, so we went to a trip and we took.
You went to a big hole in the ground. Yeah, that's usually how I impress people.
It was super boring, but it made my dad happy.
Yeah.
Not having Danny made them evil in this universe. The prosecution rests.
We don't know if they're evil. Stop saying
I
that.
still
This is an
don't
evil
think they're
science
evil.
lab.
No, look, this is probably just what the basement looks like if they didn't have kids and they just went super into work. So they just didn't renovate anything and just put just used the bare bones sort of. Yes, as I go on.
What is that? So what does that mean? We're like they're from the top. They're from another dimension or something.
Yeah,
like
a parallel dimension.
Portal?
Yeah,
it
makes sense. Like the cop is not moving exactly the same because they're somewhere else.
Kid's right.
No, but we're in this.
Shane's going to go over to one of the other workbenches and see if he can figure out any of what the sciencey stuff is.
Mm-hmm. Call me if you need me to break shit.
Sure. Yeah. You head over there and roll me a comprehend, Shane.
Gladly.
This would be so much fun.
I succeeded in something.
You succeeded. Holy shit.
Nice.
Holy shit.
My first succeeded roll of the night.
And
I
the
was gonna say, it
stream.
would be super fun if you just suddenly knew Swedish.
He just knows Swedish.
Yeah.
So you begin to look over this stuff, and you can kind of see the table you chose has a lot of schematics, right? So they're your typical old school blue paper with the white lines sort of schematics on there, like that transfer paper style. You see there's a few things there's a magnetic board tacked to the wall where you see magnets are holding different things up, and you see what amounts to almost. How do I explain this? It is almost like a camcorder, right? Those big old handheld camcorders, right?
Yeah.
It's probably about 6 to 8 inches wide by 6 to 8. It's like a square, right? And it's probably 3 to 4 inches thick. And the lens is far bigger than you've seen a camcorder lens be, right? A camcorder lens is probably a 2-inch diameter. This is probably a 4.5 inch diameter, and it's dead center on the thing. So it's kind of if you held it like this, it'd be on the center, or if you held it like this, it's on the center. It's all disassembled, and you notice that the base plate, the bottom of it, has a plate attached to it that has 3 screw points, as if you could screw it into some kind of tripod. There's an array of holes in the back of this thing that would connect to some sort of cable, and you see that there are empty holes in the front of it where light bulbs would go.
Okay, so this is the schematic that I'm looking at.
You are looking at the schematic and a bunch of pieces completely disassembled.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yep.
Hey, guys, come here.
Huh? What?
You got?
You didn't touch anything. Okay. What? Right. Good.
Dude,
I may have moved some papers aside.
Look,
Not your parents in this reality. You're cool.
Unless we're absolutely sure, I don't want to get into trouble, because this is my dad's work stuff, and that is a super no.
Is your name
Dude?
Smith?
I just think I just gonna.
Dude, you're 14. They're never gonna put you in. They're never gonna put you in Leavenworth.
I'm 13.
She waxed John.
Not even
guys.
14.
Shh. We can hear them talking upstairs. What if
In
they
another
can hear us?
dimension.
No, we're in the same dimension now.
We're in the same dimension.
I just said we're in the same dimension now. I've been hanging out with you guys for an hour, and I'm already going crazy.
It's infectious.
Not crazy.
No, it's kind of easy. You just have to roll with it.
Well, we asked them to fucking fix this then.
To be honest,
What is this?
The first time this happened, I just thought this is how America works. So I'm just kind of rolling with this is how America works, and it kind of works for me.
It's just Rhode Island.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
You're really not wrong. So,
Who needs a New England? The old one wasn't broken. I didn't wait for that one.
Touché.
Jesus. Wasn't it?
how long
I've
you've been
waited
saving
for
that one up.
It's pretty good.
Yikes. I don't know if you've been
There's
there, but
Colonies always
John,
making trouble.
John, you know tech stuff, right?
Yeah, sure.
What do you make of this? Not my forte.
It's a schematic for some sort of camera thing, but they make better ones in Japan.
So,
Don't tell my dad.
but they. Okay, so I'm assuming that the parts there line up with some of the parts on the schematic.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So it looks like we've got these parts of it. So what parts are we missing?
Good question.
I mean, so based on the schematic and based on what you see, you can see what the parts look like that you're missing. You have no idea what the hell they are
Sure.
to find them. But you can point out like, okay, piece, like you're making an IKEA furniture, right? You know which ones the parts are. No
Or
offense.
we're making
No offense, Danny.
We're making the new Swedish House Mafia collab turntable and stand.
Mhm.
If you don't
Please
understand
sponsor us.
instruction, phone IKEA to get back into your own dimension.
Yeah. So you can
Parallax.
you can identify the pieces that are missing. And because you succeeded at a comprehend, you look at the other benches, and it seems as though those pieces are still being built.
All right, so I will point that out. Excuse me, to the rest of the crew. Do we have the lens, or is the lens one of the things still being built?
The lens is one of the things being built. The first desk you guys came to, that has like a bunch of like chemistry things and like one of those big giant magnifying lights. The lens is being built over there.
Are there any other desks that have personal effects on them to signify that there's more than one scientist working here?
No, there's just the one desk with personal effects.
There's two chairs, and if this were a little later, they'd have two laptops backed up to each other like they were playing Battleship.
Yeah. The only thing you can see,
Please.
Fish, the only thing you can see that would indicate there might be two scientists working here would be the notes that Danny's mother has crossed out and rewritten for Danny's father, implying that both of them use this space.
And I would also like super quickly point out, like, you see, this is my mom's handwriting and here's my dad's handwriting. And I know this makes no sense to you, but my dad uses the improper form of these Swedish words. My mom has like corrected it.
The shame.
Fish,
No.
Right.
He does
Fish,
that
what are
all the
you
time
what are
when he
you
tries to speak
doing?
Swedish.
The boys seem to be looking at, or at least the older boys seem to be looking at the equipment, trying to rebuild something or piece together how something goes. What are you doing, Fish?
I don't know what she's doing. Other than this strange camera that's in pieces around, what else is there?
You know, gee, funny you should ask. You begin to root through the tables, some of the paperwork that's sort of piled up, the other schematics for the individual pieces that are being built, and you find a manila folder that is like the string looped manila folder. It is undone, and there's a few pages that are sort of like not scattered, but like coming out of it, right? And you sort of pick that up, and more of them slide out. And because you did this to yourself, G, there is a handwritten letter. Is the top one that falls out. The handwritten letter strikes you for a second as a moment of confusion.
Mm-hmm.
There are 4 letters in particular that catch your eye because they're written the exact same way they are written on a VHS cassette tape that you carry on your person. The letters F, I, S, and H. They are written in the exact same handwriting of your mother. In fact, the entire note is written in the exact same handwriting of your mother. However, this is dated 2 weeks ago. The note replies, the note is in correspondence to a Richard Smith. It is not a formal letter. It is much more informal. However, there is a bunch of sciencey shit scattered through this. It says, Richard, you wouldn't believe this. The spacewalk went outstandingly. The terrestrial tessellation is a success. Soon, the neural net will be expanding through the entire northern hemisphere. This has greater reach than we could have ever possibly imagined. We've linked with the Swedish hub. We've linked with the New England hub, and all of us can see, we can triangulate between us and the Japanese facility that has just recently started. I couldn't have done this without your help. I can't wait until I get back to stateside, where I get to meet you and your wife for the first time in person. And there is a picture of your like a Polaroid picture of your mother in a like a skin tight jumpsuit. And the surrounding background is two other people in a similar skin tight jumpsuit. All three of them bear the same mark that you have on the shirt you're wearing. And the background is that of what you would imagine a space station to be.
Does she? She's like, I think she had at this point. She's turned, like when she found the letter, she kind of glanced at the boys, and they're like, oh, they're all like have their backs to her. And so she turns away from them and she's reading this note. Does she recognize anyone else in the other two people?
No.
Okay. She looks older than the last time I saw her.
Yes. Yep. I mean, she looks similar enough, but older. Like, you know, like it's been what, a couple years?
Yeah, it's been 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, so it's not super noticeable, but like, you know, it looks like a gently older version of your mother.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's just holding it and like just staring at it. And then she will, with the Polaroid, she's gonna fold it up, reach into her bag, pull out the journal, her iconic item, and she's gonna put the note and the picture in the journal and put it back in her bag.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna look at the other papers there.
The other papers, it appears to be a continued correspondence between Julia Fisher and Richard Smith, rather, corresponding to goings on between the space station and what they have planned. Some sort of terrestrial tessellation is what they're calling it. A Japanese facility is something you've never heard of before, but this seems all like regular commonplace stuff in this letter. Like, this is not new information to anybody.
So she's gonna take a couple other pieces, fold them up, and put them back in the journal. And I'm actually gonna use the journal, my iconic item, to see if she can figure out what the hell terrestrial tessellation is.
Roll me comprehend
With a +2.
Yes,
For my iconic item. Okay. I'm gonna push it. So I'm gonna spend a luck.
Okay.
Roll 2 successes.
Nice.
okay. Going back and forth through the information you have here, how do I explain this in a way that a child would understand?
Or indeed your player, you know?
Or indeed my player.
We ain't so bright.
Yeah.
I may talk a good game about quantum mechanics, but...
Right.
Just don't bring up hurricanes. And
of course. So
electricity and fire, the difference is very fine-tuned there.
That's true. So tessellation is essentially like tiling almost, right? It's like things that are like things sort of matching together, right? Like, it's not like a puzzle with all different shapes. It's like a kitchen floor, but they could be of any kind of shape, right? It's like those geometric symbols that all link together to form like a mesh, right? Terrestrial,
like the interlocking lizards.
Yeah, like the interlocking lizards or like Duck Bunny situation, right? Some sort of shape that tessellates. It copies itself over and over again. Terrestrial meaning Earth-based, right? Terra, the Terrasphere. That combined with the neural net that was mentioned, and being able to link between locations and triangulate data, your best guess is some sort of space-bound mesh network that they are using in space, possibly between satellites, possibly between terrestrial hubs, being California, Rhode Island, and Sweden. What it does, what its purpose is, you're not entirely sure. But it required them to go to space to activate it.
Okay. And I might put you on the spot a little bit here, Mike, but what is the mission name on the badge?
It is whatever the one on your shirt is. Which I don't remember if you actually wrote it down.
I didn't. I wanted to know if you came up with one.
Oh, I did not. I did not come up with the one on the spot. I will give you a much more sciencey one. But it is, so you would know it immediately. One, because you're wearing it, and two, because of the significance of it. This is the mission that your mom should have gone on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and I think she's just like, she's in shock and she's not saying anything. Skynet. Thanks.
Yeah, basically. While you are in a state
Well,
of
it could be fishnet.
it's true. While you are while you are in a state of near catatonia because of this, Danny, John, and Trevor. Well, at least John and Trevor. John and Shane. I assume you are trying to piece together what's on these blueprints.
Yeah. I would say that since since she did all that by herself and like stating that the guys didn't notice, I would say that Danny would probably just trying to help with the Swedish parts, since he's not technical either, but he can read and understand Swedish.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so you're helping everyone together. Collectively, with your applied sciences and Swedish translations, you can get everything together. It seems you have it all. It seems as though all the pieces are there. They just needed to be assembled.
Yeah.
And you see, Danny, you see on the first bench, the one with like the lens on it, you see a handwritten note from your father. Not from your father, but a handwritten note in your father's hand. This note seems to detail the step-by-step process of activating whatever this device is. This appears to be the breakthrough. You assume that based on the number of underlines, the number of excited exclamation points, and how hastily it becomes written towards the bottom.
Across the top it says, "Never do this."
Yeah.
Danny,
Never punch the lens.
under any circumstance.
There's a drawing of a red button and it says press. Yeah, so you have all of the things you need to assemble this device down here. And Danny, I'll say you are reading this note at the base of the stairs, and you begin to hear the creak of footsteps coming from the kitchen towards the door.
Oh shit, we're not supposed to be, like, I think we're supposed to be down. We're not supposed to touch stuff, so put everything back. Like,
aren't we like
put it
ghosts here? Don't we have like, if we had special most ghost moves, I'd slime him and he'd run off.
What if we run back up the stairs?
Yeah,
because then we wouldn't be in the same.
Run upstairs.
Yeah, we wouldn't be in the same universe, the same dimension thing, whatever. As that.
He's got it.
I don't know if like Copy Dad has anything against, since I technically don't exist in this other universe, but I mean, my dad, like, it's okay if I come down here as long as I don't touch stuff. So,
well, we've touched stuff.
Yeah, so that's what I'm telling you. Like, put it back, and then we run
touched
up.
So much stuff. No,
how can
we put the thing together
without touching stuff?
Okay, so Shane at this point is going to grab the thing and like carry it under his arm, like I'm in the Heisman pose, and start running up the stairs.
John will help grabbing as much stuff as he can, schematics and the how-to guide.
You would say that Fish is still having a look of utter panic in his eyes.
An appropriate look. So Fish, you haven't moved.
He looks like Danny, in other words.
Yeah. Fish, you haven't moved. Danny, you are Zordon from Power Rangers. Aye. John, you are assisting with miscellaneous paraphernalia that you have just absconded with. And Shane, you have the assembled device under your arm as you begin to run up the stairs.
Yep.
Cool. Danny
is what I do.
Danny and Fish, you see Shane and John make a break for the stairs. Do you react in any way?
I would say
Fish?
Danny, in panic, would just grab Fish and like, we need to go, and then just jank her
Okay.
towards the stairs.
Sure.
Okay.
Because her back is still to them, and she hasn't been reacting to anything they've been doing. So if
Cool.
he grabs her, she's like, "Bleh."
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would like give zero warning. You would just be suddenly janked by the arm, moved towards the stairs.
Okay,
yeah, that's
cool.
fine.
So yeah, you get a yank towards the stairs. The four of you begin to run up the stairs. From the base of the stairs, John, I'll say you're first. You see the door open, and you see a crystal clear version of Danny's dad. There's a strange moment, like that movie sequence where it's like eyes, and it gets like closer and closer, where like he realizes that there is a basement full of children in his house. And there's like confusion as to why there are 4 children in his house, who they are, how they got here. That's my device. That's my device. That's my device. Right. As he like, the camera gets closer in and he realizes it. And you realize that you're going to have to bowl over this man to get out of here. The reality of potentially 2 realities completely eludes you at this moment, and you know that you have to basically waylay this adult to get out of here without being caught. So I would like you to make me a force move.
Yeah, sure.
This is Shane.
Oh, right.
He's the one first in line.
He's first, yeah.
Since he mentioned the Heisman's Trophy, can he get
You
a +1 for his blocking maneuver there?
He cannot. He has the low ground, and as we learned
right.
in Star Wars, the high ground has the advantage.
You must have the high ground.
You're muted, Trevor.
Thank you. So, okay, couple things. Is there any possible way that I could dodge around him instead of bowling him over? I.e., can I make a move roll instead of a force roll?
Only because he's in the doorway, and that's the only way for you to go. You're going to have to push him to get out of the way. There's not enough room in the doorway to dodge around him.
Okay. Then in that, in that dramatic moment when he realizes what he has to do, he reaches down to around his neck, and he is wearing a small heart on a pendant.
Mm-hmm.
And he picks it up and he brings it to his lips and he kisses it and he said, "Okay, Lise, you and me against the world, right? Let's do this." And that's my iconic item.
Yep. So roll that with a +2.
Yep. Force, you say. Oh, please work. Please work. Please work. Come on.
You may spend a luck. You're 15. You have 1 luck, I believe.
Okay.
Isn't it 16 minus your age? Oh, it's 15 minus your age.
I thought it was 15.
Ooh, you're right. You're right.
I'll
You can
take it.
You can re-roll at the cost of a condition.
I will absolutely do
Okay,
that.
so you take the condition first. The condition you have is
Wait. Oh, we take the condition first?
That's how the actual rules work.
Okay.
You take the condition. Let's say scared. Makes sense. There is an adult here. You're stealing technology.
There we
3
go.
successes.
Whoa.
3 successes.
Woohoo!
Danny, you watch from the bottom of the stairs. You have an arm through Fish's arm as you are yanking her away from this science fair. You watch your track and field friend destroy your military dad. The momentum he gains running up the stairs doesn't make any logical physical sense. As he just 2-3 stairs at a time, and just your dad is just a solid wall of military scientist, and he spins him like a cartoon door. As you see Shane reach the doorway. And disappear into like a fuzzy Shane as he continues to run towards the exit of your house. Your dad is kind of reeling. He like turns back towards him, turns back towards the rest of you. You see that he's like locked in who do I chase? What do I do right now? The 3 of you have a moment to respond without needing a roll. What do you do?
Danny would immediately scream out, reverting back into Swedish as you do under high pressure. And not that any of the other ones would understand it, but he would curse in Swedish and then sort of yell, "Sorry, Dad," but in this, like the Swedish version.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fun!
Cheese it!
So the 3 of you run, I assume?
I would
You
say,
stay out of our goddamn dimension. He's gonna yell at yell at Danny's dad.
I would say Danny is in such a high stress right now, so he would just mechanically follow the rest of the kids while sort of shouting, "I'm sorry, Dad," over and over back, and just keep running.
Okay.
Well, he's gonna be confused.
The four of you make it out of the house. Shane, you make it out a full 30 or so seconds before everyone else. You notice something as you sort of... Actually, do you come to a stop?
So basically what I would do is I would reach the top of the stairs. I would make a beeline for the front door, hoping against hope that it was still open.
Mhm.
If not, I would, and basically I'm going through the door. If I can pull it closed behind me, even better. And then basically I'm going to run around to the side of the house opposite the garage. And at that point I will stop, because that's kind of when the condition hits him.
Mm-hmm.
And because he kind of started, the hell did I just do?
Crime.
Yeah.
Interdimensional crime. Great. So you do so. You sprint up the stairs.
Yeah, all bad influences.
You grab the door on your way out. You slam it closed, and you continue. And you are huffing and puffing on the side of the house as all your emotions sort of wash over you. Right. Danny, John, Fish, or Fish, Danny, John. No, I'm sorry. John, Danny, Fish arrive in that order up the stairs to the closed door. The other mother is in the kitchen, blurred out.
No, not the other mother.
Is blurred out, and the door is closed, and you do not see Shane anywhere.
So we are back in the dimension I left my boots. Good.
Yes.
Yeah. If possible, I would have grabbed my shoes on the way out.
Yeah. Hey, so how much do realtors add when you have an extra dimension in the basement? 20%? 25?
I would say Danny, being super stressed out, doesn't really acknowledge the shift of dimension, and he would just, since he would probably know Fish the best at this point, grab her, and you would hear just like random shit in Swedish. It would, for you, it would sound like this. Alltså, jag förstår inte. Min far, pappa, Fish, vad gör vi? Va?
And she also looks very shaken. Like
I'm
she's
afraid.
She's like been like moving like a stiff like piece of cardboard, this whole time. And then I think she's gonna look at Danny when he's talking to her in Spanish. She's like, "It's okay. I think we're back. I think we're back.
This is the universe.
English. Oh, yeah. What? Okay.
That was weird.
That was super weird. You knocked down my dad.
Knocked down a version of, and he wasn't.
My head hurts. I'm in so much trouble.
She's gonna give Danny a hug.
No, you're not.
If he lets her.
They don't have any evidence.
I think he would momentarily stiffen up and then sort of relax and let her.
And she sounds pretty upset too. It's like, it's okay.
Okay.
It wasn't your parents. They're not here.
Right. The clones. Okay.
Plausible deniability. We're good.
Wait, where's Shane?
Don't know. He booked it out.
Shane?
Let's go. And she'll let go of him. Let's go.
Did we leave the door open when we came in the house?
I would assume so.
No, Dammy would have closed the door. It's not going to leave.
Oh, that's fair.
Wide open.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I mean, it's unlocked but closed.
Okay. Yeah, you would have
Shane
opened the door
through the window.
Yeah, you would have opened the door, Shane, and then like sort of with the same hand on the handle, like slammed it behind you.
Yep, fair.
So yeah, you don't see Shane as far as you can tell. You do see that his shoes are missing. Somehow, but he is not here.
He sprinted off out. He must have sprinted off out here like Saseb Co.
Oh, man, come on! And Danny would sort of move towards the door grabbing, like, since he was so close and being hugged by Fish, so as soon as she lets go, he just grab her by like the shirt and dragging her with him, moving towards the door, getting like his shoes just grab and put them like pre-tied as kids have them.
Okay. Yeah, you guys head towards the door. Shoes are placed on. Danny, you open the door and look out towards the side of your house, and you see Shane. Shane is there, shoes in one hand, a blurry cube in the other hand, and he is huffing and puffing.
Shane!
So actually at this point, he is probably, like, he is sitting on the ground with his knees up and just kind of his head in his hands.
Okay. So you see that. There is a blurry cube between his legs, like between his ankles.
Shane, what did you do? My dad!
Are you okay? She's gonna come
Not your dad.
Are you okay?
It's only now that he kind of looks down and kind of registers the fact that the cube is blurry. The hell? I'll be fine. Danny,
Oh, it's true. It's
John.
It's not my dad. I just keep forgetting it's the other dad, copy dad.
Other father.
So so
On fire, actually.
the thing that I know most about John, other than the fact that he's a smartass, is that he is a tech head, and tech is my dump stat. So I will. Oh wait, can I pick it up?
You can pick it up. It just feels like pins and needles.
Okay, so I will pick it up. The hell do we do with this?
We usually just destroy it.
As John says, we usually just destroy it.
Usually?
You are holding this thing out as if John, to save the day, he looks to you and says, we usually just destroy it. And as you're holding this thing, almost like the start screen of the Matrix, you see these like swirl hexagons begin to fall away from the bottom of this thing as G or Fish would understand, this thing begins to detessellate. And the pieces begin to poop, like drip off of this thing as it slowly erases.
Whoa.
So it's like it's de-resing from Tron.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
fixing
But
itself.
in reverse, it's like dripping down instead of like just lasering on. Yeah, you see the pieces fall, and as they fall, they like disintegrate.
Seeing that, I would probably let go of the thing.
Yeah, you sort of let go.
Shane is freaked the fuck out right now.
And like a Lego house dropped from 3 feet, it just sort of shatters.
Now
Quinn,
we
you're
just need
muted.
to stop them from making it in this reality.
Shane, you look out in shock and horror as this thing shatters in front of you, and your three, at least newish friends, are standing in front of you. You see the same sort of hexagonal symbols are dripping out of a notebook clutched in Fish's hands.
Yeah, and she's like,
Fish?
No.
Fish?
no, and she opens the notebook and she pulls out these pieces of paper.
As soon as you open the notebook to where the pages are, it's like someone spilled water across it, and they all just sort of flow out like liquid.
No, and she starts like freaking out, and she tries picking up the pieces.
They begin to disintegrate.
What was Fish? Why does your notebook drip?
No.
What did you pick up in there?
He specifically said, "Don't touch anything."
Oh, we passed that hurdle a long time ago, Sorensen.
You never ever get any scientific discovery without touching stuff.
And she just looks up. She doesn't say anything. She just looks really upset.
Fish, what was in the book?
It was my mom.
Mom?
Okay, so at this point,
Not my real mom.
so you see, Shane is watching Fish kind of have this reaction, and you see this look of recognition go across his face, and then like this completely crestfallen look come over him, and he kind of staggers over to her, and without even asking, go ahead.
She's sitting on the ground now. She's sitting on the
Okay.
like she's kneeling on the ground because she was trying to pick up the pieces.
Okay. So he kind of kneels down next to her and kind of throws his arms around her in that kind of hug that is at least as much for his good as hers.
Mm-hmm.
And
she I don't think she'll hug him back, but she will lean against him.
And what you hear him whispering is, "It's okay. It's okay, Lise. It's okay."
What is
okay.
happening?
Cry.
And he is actually kind of choking back tears at this point.
Yeah, she won't say anything. She'll just lean against him.
Fish. I'm going to take some narrative here and say Shane also has a watch on. But Fish, you lean into this hug and you can hear tick, 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 tick of a wristwatch near your ear.
My watch or his watch?
His watch.
It's the 80s. Everybody has a watch.
Yeah.
Swatch.
Yeah. He has like the thinnest, most potentially aerodynamic watch you can get in the mid-80s.
Made of sweat-resistant paper.
Damn straight.
Yeah, so she's gonna look if she can at the watch.
It's ticking.
Okay.
The time is normal.
Okay.
As she moves, he breaks the hug like very, almost startled. Sorry.
It's okay. Who's Lise?
Lisa, my sister.
And then she'll
She's-
give him a hug.
Let's get out of here, and then, yeah. At this point, you guys probably deserve to know.
The four of you. Oh, good.
I'm just gonna. She gets up and then she's like, "Sorry, Danny."
I mean, it's fine. I'm kind of surprised you found mom, like mom stuff, and you have a sister.
Danny, you and Jojo, you Jojo, and you're only children. I'm not an only child.
I'm an only child. She points. He has the sister.
Yeah, I'm an only child. He has a sister, and points over to Shane.
Yes,
The four of you.
You're the only children. I have the sister.
The four of you.
Me, Mr. Birkinshaw.
The four of you converse about who does and does not have siblings in your friend group as you push your 3 bicycles, and John possibly having a moment of empathy towards your non-motorized vehicle pushes his motorcycle towards the end of the Sorensen driveway. Essentially, you guys walking off into the sunset. And as you approach the end of the driveway towards the street that Danny lives on, you see that 4 houses down at a telephone pole with a large electrical transformer at it is a vehicle parked with a cherry picker. There's a man working in the cherry picker, and the side of the vehicle says New England Semaphore. And that is where we end this episode of Glenbrook Chronicles.
Nice.
There we go. Title drop. Cool. This one was called Lights Out. Yeah, very interesting. So if you liked what you saw here, and you want to see
Twin Rivers Semaphore.
Oh, you're right. It is. Fuck me. It is Twin River
Just let G
Semaphore.
run it.
Jesus.
It's going to be New England Semaphore after the merger.
Yeah, it's the merger. Yeah. Sorry, Twin River Semaphore. If you guys like what you saw here and you want to see more and you want to help this channel, the best way to do that is over on our Patreon. Link that down below. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. If you like Glenbrook, season 2 of Glenbrook Unhallowed is coming back next week, I believe. And if you like these one-shots, they're encapsulated on a playlist over on our YouTube channel under the playlist titled Glenbrook Chronicles. Glenbrook Chronicles and Glenbrook Unhallowed happen near simultaneously. In fact, season 2 of Glenbrook Unhallowed will be taking place at the same time as all of the one-shots that have happened thus far. So yeah, if you want some backstory on what Glenbrook is, or you want to buy Glenbrook, you can go over to Drive Through RPG and grab your own copy of Glenbrook and play your own Tales from the Loop games right over there. But that's it for me. Let's go around, do our introductions so we can get the hell out of here and do some after show, which you can get exclusively over on our Patreon. We will start with our newest patron and player here. Trevor, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you doing?
Hi, I am Trevor, aka the Vitruvian Meeple. You can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Board Game Geek, and you can find me right here on Mike's Discord, where I try desperately to get these people to like me. So this was a lot of fun. This was actually my first ever stream, so this was very cool. Thank you all.
Nice.
And for those of you that are sticking around for the next session, I'll be back because I just can't get enough of this.
Perfect. Hell yeah. Profo, what about you? Who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
You can find me wherever profos are found, the usual places, complaining on Twitter, complaining on the Discord. Just generally I'm complaining and my throat is awful, but so I'm glad I managed to last this far. Let's hope I can last to the after show. Yes, if you're not, at that tier, get at that tier to figure out if my throat survives.
Perfect.
What do you want?
I like it. Icon, who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Hi, I'm your friendly neighborhood Swede. Also now maybe Danny is your friendly neighborhood Karate Man. I hang around in the Discord. Sometimes I post in the looking for group when I want to play scary role-playing games with like Call of Cthulhu. And otherwise you can pretty much only find me in the Discord. So get over there. You're unmuted.
And last but not least, our community mod and manager. G, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
Hi, I'm G, your friendly neighborhood lightning invoker. You can find me in the Discord. You can find me on Twitch. You can find me on Twitter at lightningspaz09. You know where to find me. Perfect.
And if you guys are not in the Discord already, in the one-shot channel, I just posted a picture of Fish's mom, so go check that out. But that's it from all of us. We're going to get out of here. We'll see you next time for more Glenbrook Chronicles. From all of us to you guys, bye-bye.